Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, happy Mother's Day, American mums.
Yep, we missed English Mother's Day. This is for the American mums.
Again. For some reason, we're doing 50 Shades Darker. Now, listeners, I'm going to let you peek behind the curtain here. Not all of your Nerd on Nerd hosts are best pleased that we're doing 50 Shades Darker.
I mean, none of the Nerd on Nerd hosts are pleased that we're doing it. It's just some of us care what the listeners think, and some of us care what the listeners think so long as it lets them do what they want to do.
Yes.
Liam had a look on his face there, listeners, that was just like, yep, you've nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. So we've done this basically because Amanda wanted us to. Now,
and I think we did originally say we were going to do it.
Yeah, well, we say lots of shit that we don't then do.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I still think this should have been a housekeeping, but we can get into that all later when we start discussing it.
Listeners, there is a fun game you can play this episode, which is you track the exact moment that Liam gets depressed in this conversation. Because I know you're all thinking, it'll be at the start of Culture Swap, but I don't know. I've got a feeling that he's gonna be sitting there going, I have to talk about this fucking film. And then he'll just get sadder throughout the episode.
It's just going to build. Yeah, but let's start high and end low. I think that's the goal for this. Now, we've got a little fuck it, we've got nothing good coming. First, it's time for catching up with Ellie and Liam. So, let's just get started, right? I've not done a lot. Here's cool. The exciting things I've done lately. Built furniture. You see that bookshelf thing behind me?
Listeners, Liam is gesturing at a wall shelf thing.
Bookshelf, yeah.
Bookshelf.
Built it.
Yep, I see it.
Built a cat. Built another 2 for downstairs in my cinema room. Brilliant. That was a fun day. And then I built a bed with some help. So
you're now not sleeping on the floor.
Correct. Yes. No longer doing that whole bohemian lifestyle,
which only you liked and Cat hated, if I remember rightly.
Cat hated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love sleeping on the floor, but it makes me feel sort of what's the word? I don't want to sound hippy dippy, but almost at one with nature.
Sleeping.
Every morning I'd wake up and I'd just feel so refreshed and in tune with the earth. Which, by the way, everyone's polluting. Please stop. Sleeping
on the floor in your house.
Yeah.
Makes you feel at one with nature.
Pretty much, yeah.
Holy shit. Ooh. It'd take a while to unravel just everything that's going on in your brain there. So let's
just move on.
Yeah. So how did the furniture building go? You and Kat, this is not the first bit of DIY you've done recently, is it? There was something else.
Yeah, it feels like we're always doing bits of DIY and stuff.
I don't think you had... No, because you were very proud last time of the toilet seat.
We did the toilet seat. Also, since moving, we've built the desk in Kat's office.
Yep.
The toilet seat, which we didn't really build, but I was still very proud of it. And the dining room table and chairs downstairs. That was all built. And now, more recently, 3 bookshelves and a bed. And
the
also,
bed, I think, is the most impressive out of those. And even then, I'm like, is it just putting bits together?
It's a bed, it's a proper bed with drawers and stuff that,
okay, it's got drawers.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest thing, in all honesty, was the table. That was the thing that took the longest and was the most annoying to build. Really hurt my hands with all the screwing that had to do with that.
Liam doesn't have workman hands. He has hippie one with nature hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%. So, I have to wrap a tea towel around my hands after a bit of screwing just to stop it from hurting. Yeah, because sometimes they get sweaty and you can't get a good grip on the screwdriver.
I wasn't laughing about that, Liam.
Okay. But yeah, built bookshelves. I'm missing one bookshelf that I need to go and get from IKEA at some point. But then that'll be ready.
Oh, what, it didn't come with it, sort of thing? It was meant to have it, but it wasn't there?
No, it's not it wasn't there. It's you can order extra bookshelves, and I ordered an extra 2 that I thought would be enough, but it turns out I sort of miscalculated and could actually get away with an extra one. And I've got a lot of stuff, so another bookshelf means that's another shelf of films.
Very good.
And then last weekend, literally it's just gone, it was a bank holiday weekend, and because we've had, since we recorded last, we had Easter.
Oh, is it? Have we not? Oh, yeah, we've had both bank holiday weekends. I've done tons of shit then. Oh, get ready for my catching up with listeners. I'm going to be full of cool, fun experiences. Carry on, Liam.
Did all the building. And then this bank holiday that's just gone, I looked after the dog because my mum went off to Bruges. So if she was on catching up with, she'd have loads to tell you.
Yeah.
Me, I'd looked after the dog. I had him here for once because normally I go to hers to look after him there. Tried looking after him here. He was good most of the time. Yesterday he was a bit of a dickhead. But...
I saw the photo of Kat lying down on the floor with the dog.
Yeah, and he was like holding on to her.
Yeah. What was that about?
Oh, he's... Right. He likes holding on to you, so you... He's a very clingy dog, so he doesn't like you to leave the room. So if you're with him, he'll put his paw on you, so he's like, right, I know you're there, and if you move, I'm going to know that you've moved. So yeah, he'll very often... The thing is, he'll put his paw and then he'll dig his claws in as well. So it really is just like, you're staying there.
You're staying with me.
Yeah. He's almost as needy as I am.
Yeah, that's the thing, listeners. You do have to bear in mind that Liam has no brothers and sisters, but this dog is almost like a twin to Liam. They're very similar.
Yeah. But no, so surprisingly, normally he'll be barking all the time and like he'll be on edge because he'll be waiting for like my mum to get back.
Yeah.
But I think because he was in a different environment, he wasn't as fast, so he just sort of got on with it.
Because he's not like, oh, mum usually comes and gets me here.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
like, I don't know where the fuck I am.
Yeah. And we took him out for like 2 walks a day just to really tire him out, and he's getting old now, so that was plenty for him. On Sunday, I watched Saving Private Ryan, which is like nearly 3 hours long, and he just laid in front of me snoring for the entire time. The whole like
he didn't watch it.
No, the whole like D-Day Beach thing where all the bombs are going off, and I've got like the surround sound going on. I thought he'd hate that and he'd leave the room.
Nope.
Nah, just snored.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so like yesterday morning he got up and was just a bit of a dickhead, and I think it's because the 2 days before that we got into the habit of just getting up and taking him straight out for a walk, and we didn't yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's your own fault.
Yeah, he was just like, nah, this isn't what happens. We go for walks now, and yeah, it's a bit. The other thing, so the first day on Saturday, Kat's doing park run at the moment.
Yeah.
Which means on a Saturday, for listeners that don't know what a park run is, Kat gets up at like ludicrous o'clock, like 7 o'clock in the morning, goes to like a place in Basingstoke and runs 5k for some reason.
I think she's getting fit, right?
Fuck knows. But so she got up at like 7, and the dog, he's a big boy, so even though we've now got a bed built, his head is still like level with where the pillows are. So you'll be like there asleep, and then you get like a wet nose in your face.
Yeah.
So he sort of woke me up at 7 when Kat got out of bed and was like, are we getting up now? I was like, no, lay down. And he did, and he like slept, and I kind of like every like hour he'd sort of check and be like, are we getting up now? And I'd be like, no, lay down again. And I managed to sleep in till like 10, which I wasn't expecting.
No, fair enough.
But yesterday, none of that. And Kat got up at like 8 or something, and he was like, well, you're getting up as well, Liam.
Lovely.
So I was knackered yesterday. I was so tired because I stayed up till like 3 playing Days Gone.
Yeah. This is my problem with bank holiday weekends, is like the moment I get any extended time off, my brain goes, oh, well, Saturday. Like usually I'd be like, if I stay up till 3, that means tomorrow I'm going to have to like, I'm going to be really tired. I'm going to go to bed early-ish. And by early-ish, I mean like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But bank holiday rolls around. I'm like, Saturday I can start really late. And then Sunday I can start late. And then, Jesus Christ, like it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, the problem I have is if I watch a film late at night, I'll get tired quite quickly. So unless it's like a really, really, really good film and it's like captured my attention, I can normally get like half an hour into a film and I'll be like, it's sleepy time now. If I'm playing a video game, I think because my brain is a bit more like engaged with it and a bit active, I can just power through the night playing games.
Yeah, 100%. That is literally the 3 a.m. I was up to on Saturday. I stopped and was like, I have to go to bed, but I'm not tired at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I need to force myself to sleep because this is not going to be good.
Yeah. The one thing that is good for me is when I go to bed, I can get off to sleep really quickly, which annoys... that annoys Kat because she can't either, and she'll like toss and turn and I'll just be snoring. But I'm bad at staying up.
Yeah.
We've got another bank holiday coming up as well.
Jesus.
End of the month. And I'm going to take...
England just burns all its bank holidays right at the start of the year.
Yeah, but I'm going to take 4 days off afterwards. So I'm going to have like a week of just doing nothing but trying to get my movie number down because it's
fair enough.
It's not gone down enough. So yeah, that's all I've been up to. Brilliant. Ellie, enlighten us with your adventures. You seemed excited earlier.
Oh, well, only because I remembered I had done something. On the first bank holiday weekend... Easter weekend...
You love religion, so this was a special occasion.
Oh, just absolutely
at the church, singing hymns?
Nope. The Kempsters on the Monday, I think. Or was it the Saturday? No, I think it was the Monday. We all went up to a place called Runnymede, Liam.
I've heard of that place. Yeah, it's a place I've heard of, Runnymede.
No, just Runnymede, not Running Mead.
Runnymede.
Yeah.
I've heard of Runnymede.
Oh, but then different place.
Different place. I don't know what Runnymede is.
Runnymede, Liam.
Is it where they make marmalade?
No, it's where they signed the Magna Carta and made that. Pardon?
What's the Magna Carta? For listeners that
the
maybe
Magna
don't
Carta,
know.
Oh, that's fine, Liam. The Magna Carta is one of the most important British documents ever made. It's like, you know how America has the Declaration of Independence and all their
the amendments,
the laws and stuff.
Don't take our guns. We need to shoot children.
The whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
This is our equivalent of that. It's a bunch of dukes in the medieval times sat down and went, we need a bunch of laws that explicitly say these are the rules. And they took it to a king and were like, mate, we did this. And he was like, all right.
Which king?
I can't remember. I wasn't paying attention to that bit.
Right.
It wasn't like a museum or anything. It's basically just a big park. So you go to a place where they signed it, and then they have a bunch of art installations around.
Okay.
Which were I'm not a massive fan of art, but they were pretty cool. There's one that's
impressions of the signing, or was it just
no
art?
It's just art. Well, one of them's relevant because it's it's 12 seats.
Yeah.
So jurors and I think there were 12 people that made the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
And then on each of the seats is a different picture engraved on it. They're these bronze seats.
Right. Okay.
And then the front would be sort of I think the front of each seat was a more modern thing.
Yeah. So
there was stuff about a ship that sunk and a bunch of people drowned, and then the back of the seats would have a scene depicting maybe a more historical thing.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. There were a lot of interesting things, and then there was a little guide that told you more about each of those scenes.
Oh, okay.
So I became an expert on that.
Of course.
I will admit, me and my dad, I think, were more invested in that sort of stuff than the rest of my family.
Yeah, that sounds accurate, I think. Just from meeting your family very briefly, I can imagine that they were probably quite indifferent to all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the best bit of the day was probably getting there, arriving, getting out of the car, and my brother looking around and going, sorry, what is it? And we went, oh, it's just a bunch of things around here. And he went, I thought we were going to a museum. So I was like, cool. My brother doesn't even know what we're doing. He's just
instantly
arrived
disappointed.
what the?
He's literally got out of the car and it's just
a field and woods.
Yeah, just gets out of the car and is like, this is not what I signed up for.
There was, to be fair, there was this old couple that happened to walk the same sort of route as us and would often end up being near the Kempster family when we'd get to one of these memorials or monuments.
Yeah.
And every time we were at the same one as them, we would say something and it would be fucking stupid. And they would just burst out laughing because we were idiots.
We had something stupid, or just naturally something stupid?
Oh, well, there was a little sign that said, this is an old oak tree that's planted in soil brought over from Jamestown. Mm-hmm. The first place in America that was settled.
Yeah.
So it was planted in soil, and all of us misread that, all the Kempsters, and thought it was the oldest tree in England, and it was this tiny, tiny little tree. So we were all just standing there going, this tree's not very big for the oldest tree in England. And then this old couple were just laughing, and then I was looking at the sign and I was like, no, we've misunderstood. We've completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
At one point I was pointing into the distance going, well, maybe it's not this tree, maybe it's that tree behind it that's a bit bigger. But no, it was just dirt. The whole thing was a shit show, Liam.
Yeah.
Of us misunderstanding stuff.
But that is what I would imagine a Kempster day out to be like.
Yeah. It was. I mean, genuinely, it was nice. It was good to go out.
It was nice weather as well, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah, it was really hot.
Yeah,
and just nice.
Fair enough. Sounds nice.
That was mine. And then the other bank holiday, I did nothing.
You got Easter eggs. I saw that.
Oh yeah, I got Easter eggs. I got a shit ton of cream eggs.
Yeah, and you went to see some gigs, or a gig at least.
Yeah, I went to see Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Hmm.
I may have mentioned him on here before.
The name Frank Carter rings a bell. No, I'm getting him confused with Frank Turner. Never mind.
Fair enough. Him and the band are like this.
You have mentioned it before. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, they're like the first album they released was this hardcore. One of the songs is called "I Hate You," and it's just him screaming I fucking hate you.
Sounds mean.
And it's a really good song. It's so horribly aggressive and like sweary, but it's a very, I don't know, the way like when he introduces the song, it's sort of like a cathartic thing. He's weird because I would hate to hang out with him, I think.
Okay.
But he seems like a genuinely sort of sweet guy. Like he had a lot of like drug problems and drink problems, but now he's like cleaned himself up because he's got a daughter, and like he just genuinely loves his fans and trusts them. Like he stage dived.
Is he American?
No, he's English.
So why And the Rattlesnakes?
That's just the band name. They're
Yeah,
Frank
but like
Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes aren't. They're not a British animal.
No, they're not.
It just seems weird, right?
That's not like a rule. People don't have to be called things from their country.
Like, if you were like, oh yeah, they're from Texas, I'd be like, oh, makes perfect sense.
The band Starship didn't own a starship.
They should.
They should have. But yeah, no, he was really good.
Okay, the band Black Sabbath, right, got their name from a Mario Bava film that they watched called Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
That makes
What's
sense.
that got to do with anything?
I just thought it was a good fact.
Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes got their name because they watched an animal documentary and they saw a rattlesnake. There you go.
Is that an actual fact, though? Because my one
No,
is...
it isn't, Liam, but it's as stupid as what you just said.
No, because mine is an actual fact.
Anyway,
Look
Liam,
it up.
their new stuff's very rocky. The middle album was like punk, and then this one's rock, and it's got some really good songs on it, and the whole gig was like... It's that thing I go to sometimes where it's Banquet Records, which is a record shop in Kingston that put on a 45-minute show but get big bands on.
Yeah.
And like, it was just cool. And he's insane. Like, I've never seen someone stage dive as much as he does.
Yeah.
They had the whole, like, the guitarist jumping into the pit and being carried whilst playing guitar.
Yeah.
And then at one point...
What happens with the wire?
Someone has to stand near the stage holding it above everyone's head. At one point, he walked into the audience, went right to the back of the, like, front pit.
Yeah.
And then walked from where hit the middle of it to the left.
Yeah.
And literally, I just watched as, like, these waves of people got hit by a microphone cable.
Wow.
That's like duck around it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow. He's got no idea that he's
he does not care
so much. No.
Yeah.
But the bit that was like
a stegosaurus.
He cannot have... What?
Like a stegosaurus. Because they've got that spiky tail that they just swing around, but they don't really... I think there's a scene in one of the Jurassic Parks, right? I think in maybe The Lost World, where a stegosaurus gets loose and its tail swinging around, making all this carnage behind it, and it's just oblivious. It's just like living its life.
Yeah, just like that, Liam. Frank Carter's just like a stegosaurus, yes.
Yeah.
There was a bit in the gig where he and the guitarist climbed up on... So there's a front pit in this place. It's a nightclub where they host this gig. Yeah. So there's a front pit, which is like level with the stage. Then you walk up a bunch of steps to get to the second level, which is maybe head height above those people.
Yeah.
Then there's like a whole other bit that's really high up. But they climbed up onto the balcony of that second level.
Yeah.
So standing fairly high above everyone's heads.
Yeah.
And then he went, yeah, we're gonna fucking dive onto you, catch us.
Right.
And everyone at one point, there was loads of people going over to where the guitarist was, being like, oh, he's got a guitar, we should probably catch him.
Yeah.
But to the point where Frank Carter did not have enough people in front of him and had to go, oi, you fucks, I know you all like him, but I'm small, I just need a few of you to fucking catch me, because I've got a gig, I'm touring with the Foo Fighters, and I don't want to fucking die. And everyone was like, oh yeah, fair point.
Okay.
But so it was all very happy, but I was like, holy shit, I don't want him to die.
Yeah.
But honestly, just a very fun gig.
I think sometimes when you go like to see live music, they trot out and they play the things and they go. But this sounds like an actual like show was put on.
He's an amazing frontman. Every time we've seen him, like I'm not the biggest fan of his music.
Yeah.
Like I don't listen to him a whole lot. I just occasionally will put something on and be like, oh yeah, I like him. But the performance he puts on is really good.
Yeah.
And he's like a lot of his newer stuff. He sings about depression as well, like specifically being like, we all need to help each other. And I'm like, I think you are just a genuine nice guy. You're just sometimes a bit of a dick. Like at one point he was trying to be inclusive to the women in the audience.
Yeah.
And I think I was the only person of the people I was with. I was like, I think you're just maybe being sexist and not helpful. Because he went, I want all the women that are scared of like crowd surfing because they don't want to get touched inappropriately. I want you to. This is for you. I don't want any men crowd surfing for this song. Just the women. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. That's people don't want to crowd surf because they don't want to get groped.
Yeah.
But you telling all the men, Frank Carter, that they're not going to grope the women isn't going to stop the gropers.
No.
So all you're doing is going, yeah, crowd surf. No one will touch you. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. But then,
And I was like,
but what you could kind of turn it and be like, if anyone does grope you, let us know. We'll turn on him.
I mean, honestly, he is the kind of person that I imagine if he had seen someone groping someone, he probably would have come into the audience and hit him. So
Yeah.
maybe people were just like, yeah, we don't want to fuck off Frank.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, Liam.
My glasses were loose on the weekend, so I went to get them tightened, and they replaced the nose pads. And now, like, because they're new, they're really sticky, and they keep like getting stuck to my nose. It's really annoying.
Wow, how exciting. Now it's time for the part of the show where me and Liam review things that we have done, seen, played, read, experienced, but spoiler-free.
I don't like that. I much prefer, like, now it's time for the part of the show where Liam went to cinema and here's his spoiler-free review of the thing that he saw at the cinema. It just rings, like, it rolls off the tongue so much better.
I think what I said rolled off the tongue.
I don't think it did.
It was smooth. I think everyone thought it was smooth.
No. First thing we've both seen is Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. No spoilers, obviously.
Obviously, no spoilers. This, like I said in the beginning bit there, spoiler-free review. So no spoilers. You kind of have to see Infinity War before you see this.
Yep, 100% would recommend seeing Infinity. I mean, to be honest, I'd recommend seeing most of the Marvel stuff before seeing this. But you need to see Infinity War.
Yeah, I think you'd struggle. I enjoyed it. Well, I think what I can say without doing spoilers is typically when you have like a two-parter type thing. So like this, or like the last Harry Potter book got split into 2 films.
Yep.
Or let me think of any other examples that would work well.
Is it the same?
Yeah. Similar-ish.
Is it?
Ish.
Because this wasn't split into 2 films.
No,
it was always 2 parts.
Yeah, but so Harry Potter, they didn't film as one and then split it. They filmed it as 2 different films.
No, I know, but that was them splitting a story in half.
Yeah. But what I'm saying
that's what I'm saying. I don't know
like,
if it's...
because they shot this all like back to back and everything.
Yeah, but it was... Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, when you have like a 2-parter thing like that...
Yeah.
Oh, the other example I was thinking of was Star Wars, with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? Where you have like a one story being told in 2 parts like that. I always find the first part way more interesting because typically you can be a bit more surprising with how you end it. You can like end things quite bleak and down and dark, and then I find that like for some reason I didn't know that Endgame was coming, so I wasn't prepared for Infinity War to be like the first of a 2-parter thing. So when it ended,
right. I remember you being like, no, I think it's totally separate.
Yeah. So when it ended like that, I was really surprised and shocked and was like, oh, that's amazing. But I think with films like Endgame and Return of the Jedi and the last Harry Potter film, there is always like an idea of how things are going to pan out. Like you might not know exactly the details, but you know roughly things might get like fixed or people will be happy. You know. So I always think that the second half has a much harder job to do than the first half. Like I think it's a lot easier in a film to set up a bad thing happening than it is to resolve that bad thing happening. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, because the first film is like, I don't have an end goal of like, oh, everything's got to get resolved.
Exactly.
The first part can be just like, and we leave it in tatters. And what's going to happen?
Just carnage, and you can just go home and figure it out. And whereas like anytime you end something, there always has to be an element of closure. And I know some people find that really satisfying. I don't. I much prefer films and stuff to be open-ended. Like
I imagine that's coming from someone that's never watched. Imagine if they only did Infinity War. There is no way you'd be sitting here going, you know what?
Yeah.
Bold. You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's because like you think so many films end with closure. Like films that more films than not will have one story and they're like, right, and now we wrap that up in a nice little bow and that's done.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm just like, yeah, I get it. It's what you expect. So this for me wasn't as good as Infinity War, but it was still a satisfying conclusion. Yeah, that is basically what I'm getting at.
Fair enough.
Cast are all good. I thought again, this isn't spoilers. It's basically this film is 3 hours long and it's sort of split into 3 parts. The first hour was my favourite part. And then the second hour, I thought was a bit convoluted and it was okay, but yeah. And then the third hour was all right. It was like fun.
Yeah, Liam got all in a muddle. It was one of those films that you had to think a little bit, and Liam don't do that.
No, and I think like when we were talking about it afterwards, there were definitely some points I was making that weren't terrible points.
No, you definitely were making some good points.
But I can't remember what they are now.
No.
I mean, it was a while ago. But yeah, the first hour I thought was really bold. Again, it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was satisfying. I'd give it 4 out of 5.
Yeah, probably agree on the 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Any other?
I'm excited to see where the next arc goes.
I mean, there's like we were discussing earlier, there's some potential directions it could go in that are exciting. So we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I watched a TV show that you recommended.
Oh, Fleabag?
Yes, I've now watched season 1 or series 1 and 2 of Fleabag. It's a British show.
only seen season 1 and
series
half of season 2.
Series, because British shows for some reason are called series, whereas Americans they're called seasons.
We invented the language, so we're right.
Not necessarily.
It's our language.
Yeah, but it's not like it's the same word.
I like that you said, yeah. What I just said is not cool, but you were just like, yeah.
But it's different words, but they mean the same thing, essentially. So it's not
like the changing of the seasons. This is the season of spring.
Right, and series?
A series is a group of things that are tied together.
Could be sequential.
Yep, you can get a sequential series, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know why it's different. I know that it is for some reason. It's 6 episodes of series. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I think her name is. Mm-hmm. Really good. I think like when you reviewed series 1 last episode or the episode before, recently-ish.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were basically saying it was really good, and I was like, I'll give it a go because a lot of people have been talking about how good it is. And the first episode, I was like, I'm not entirely sure, but I like the look to camera sort of gimmick, if you will. It's
done really well.
Yeah, and how that plays out as the show goes on is really good. In the second series, you have Andrew Scott, who was Moriarty in Sherlock.
That's how I know him as well.
Yeah. He plays this priest who's brilliant. And again, like, no spoilers, but I just like what they do with his character. And yeah, I don't think there's going to be a third series, but I would like there to be one.
No, I think they said this is the end. I think.
Which is a shame. I'd like more, but I thought it was good. The whole cast were pretty good. The only one that I thought stood out a bit was the American husband.
Yeah,
he was also in the Netflix show Love.
Okay,
and he played like a very similar character there, which is basically a lab dickhead. And I'm just like, it's the only character that felt a bit almost cartoonish, whereas the rest, I found it easier to buy them.
The stepmom?
Oh, what, Olivia Colman?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought...
I'd argue that basically the villains, air quotes, of the story...
But I liked how she was just really snidey, and it was really, like, underhand.
She is, but she's not, like... But I would say that it's not... it's still very, like... She's the villain, and they don't do, like, here's why. Whereas a lot of the other characters do get a, like, oh, they're doing this shitty thing, and then you have, like, an episode where... you learn why, and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah,
I really liked Hugh Dennis's character.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting to see him shot. I think like most UK people would know him from Outnumbered. Is that what it was called?
Outnumbered, Mock the Week.
Yeah, he does a lot of Mock the Week. Yeah, he was in a series of Taskmaster as well. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
But yeah, I liked his character in it. It's just a good show that I think. I don't really know what it was about, in all honesty. Like, it ended, and like, if you say, why was she called Fleabag? I don't know.
It's just a slice of life. Like, that was one of the things I heard about it, that people were like, this is why it's good, is it's a slice of life, and there's stuff going on in between the episodes that you don't see because you're watching someone's life. You're not like, I don't know, you're not being told a story.
Yeah.
You're watching 20 minutes of this person's life, and then you're missing bits because... Of course you are. She's living a whole life.
Yeah.
And that sort of fleshes out the character without having to flesh out the character.
Yeah, it is really well written.
It is. It's also just like, it's funny.
Yeah.
But also there are episodes that are just sad. And like, I definitely cried in series 1 and was like, oh shit, this show is not what I thought it was.
Yeah, I think you'd have the same with series 2. You need to watch series 2.
I've watched most of it. I need to finish off the last few episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 6. And they're 20 minutes. So it's 2
exactly,
hours. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5.
Fair enough.
And should I do my last one?
Yeah, you may as well.
Liam. We've done more Taskmaster.
I've already hogged these ones.
Yeah, we did series 4 and 5 of Taskmaster, and then what they did is all of the winners of each series, they did a Champion of Champions, which was just 2 episodes long. But we finished watching that tonight as well. It's more of the same. It's enjoyable. It's just like, it's easy, something to watch while we have dinner. We're in a bit of a limbo at the moment where we're obviously watching Game of Thrones weekly. We've kind of like, we've got Riverdale on the go as well, but we haven't found like a really good show to like proper sink into. I can't remember what the last one was that we did get really into it, and I did like, it was probably like Parenthood, to be honest, back when we were doing like Gilmore Girls and Parenthood. Since then, we haven't really found anything. We need to...
Well, maybe, Liam, I'll review something and you'll be like, oh shit, I should watch that too.
Well, the thing is, we've got a long list of shows we want to watch. It's just getting around to it is the problem. Like, I've had The Wire.
That's what I find as well.
I've had The Wire sat on Blu-ray for about 2 years now. Everyone says it's amazing.
I tried The Wire, but you know what I'm like with like...
If it doesn't instantly
crime and gangster.
Yeah.
Like at uni, Mike tried to get me to watch it, and I watched, I think, all of series 1. And by the end, I was like, I'm not going to carry on. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I've got other stuff to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we've...
Like the entirety of Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, I've still got the original Star Trek. I did the first season.
Just don't.
Why? It's got...
It annoys me so much that you're watching it.
It's got good episodes.
Because you don't enjoy it.
No, some episodes are good. They are.
Yeah, some.
Yeah.
Yeah, some.
I think we should watch it.
Okay. Why?
Because I think you would enjoy it.
I think I'll find it problematic.
Yes. But that's not a bad thing, is it?
It depends.
It's a little bit sexist.
It is a bit sexist. And by a little bit sexist, pretty sexist.
Yeah, but I think it'd be fun to discuss, right?
Okay. What do you give Taskmaster?
It's another like 4 out of 5. Whatever I gave it last time, it's still the same. So
Fair,
hang on.
because it's similar.
4 out of 5.
Liam just checked his notebook there.
Yeah, the benefit of having handwritten notes.
I refuse. Liam, I've done stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. The first thing I've done...
Yeah?
Read a bloody book, Liam!
Oh my goodness. So, right.
I think this is the first book
It
since The Nightmare.
So, for any listeners that maybe missed that period of the podcast, because this was a period that lasted about a year.
Yeah.
So, right. When we first started, Ellie... Oh, she used to love her books, didn't you?
I've always loved reading, Liam. Always loved reading. Used to read hundreds of books.
Used to devour them like a little book goblin, weren't you?
I did.
And then you used to come on the podcast.
My dad had to send me to. My dad would have to come and check up on me at midnight. He'd say, "You still awake?" And I go, "No." And he'd go, "Stop reading, go to bed." And I go, "Fine."
Yeah. And then you'd come on the podcast and you'd tell me all about the books you've read. And
there's a gap in between there. My dad wasn't checking up on me at midnight recently.
No, there was. And then so you'd come on the podcast. You'd tell me all about it. And I hated these book reviews because you'd come on and you would always read like fantasy,
or
stuff
like, I liked,
grim
sci-fi, fantasy.
Yeah,
I did it in different waves. Was my thing. I was going through a bunch of different like fantasy subgenres.
Yeah. So you would.
So I did grimdark. I did gunpowder fantasy.
Yeah.
I did Name of the Wind, which isn't a subgenre of fantasy. It's just one of the best fantasy books of recent times.
Honestly, listeners, it would just piss me off. Ellie would come on and she'd be like, I've read 5 books from this book series. I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And then she'd be like, it's brilliant. I loved it. It had elves and wizards and it was 5 out of 5. And I'm like, okay. And then...
So what was your solution to that, Liam?
No, right. But then, right...
To me loving books.
No, here's the thing. It was only later when I was editing it for YouTube, I was like, these book reviews, terrible. Because like sometimes you'd forget to tell me who the author was. I think there was an entire book review where you didn't even tell me what the book was called. And I had to message you when I was editing the YouTube video and be like, what was this? It pissed me off. So then we had a discussion, right? And I was trying to get you to review these books better. And one of those ways was I started giving you book recommendations. And we had a good one. We started off good. We had Nocturnal, if you remember that.
Yeah, it was a good book.
And then you read a couple of other... Is it Scott Spielger who wrote that?
Yeah, I think so.
You read a couple others of his.
I read the Infected trilogy.
Yeah. Then I got you to read a James Herbert book called Fluke that I have...
Wasn't Fluke first?
It might have been, yeah, to be honest.
I think Fluke was first, which was not good.
You didn't massively enjoy it.
No. It's about a man being a dog.
But I was trying to like broaden your reading. So instead of just getting like a whole wave of fantasy, we'd get little bits here and there. So I gave you like it was like a what? Monstery, crimey book, Nocturnal.
Yeah.
And
like
then
the kind of book I read.
Yeah, then Fluke was about a guy that turns into a dog.
Was a dog, becomes a dog.
Yeah.
Liam doesn't have a catalogue of books to pull from, so he just gave me shit he read as a kid.
Yeah. And we all know how my memory of things I enjoyed as a kid has panned out.
If you don't, go find the Feast episodes.
Yeah. And then I gave you a book that is widely regarded as a classic.
Yep.
It's listed on, I think, 1,001 books you should read before you die.
they're wrong.
Yeah, it's American Psycho.
Yep.
And that started your year-long adventure into trying to read American Psycho.
Yep.
With just one simple book. I totally removed book reviews from this show.
Yep, they died.
They just
died for a year.
Yeah, I think if anything, I started doing book reviews because I felt a bit guilty and had to make up. So I reviewed Carrie and Fight Club and a few good books that I enjoyed. Then you finally finished American Psycho, and I was like, "Oh, this is good. Ellie's going to get back into her book reviews now."
And it turned out what Liam had done was picture someone taking there's a picture of fireplace, a lovely warm fireplace, and in that fireplace is a poker being heated up.
Yeah.
And then Liam grabbed that poker from the fireplace, turned round, plunged it into my reading centre of my heart, and just cauterized it out of me. With the fire that is trying to read American Psycho.
I mean, you have to admit it's kind of impressive.
I mean, no, I know you, so no. This is 100% a Liam thing, and I'm not impressed you did it. I'm just like, yeah, that Liam did that. That makes sense.
Yeah, because
he didn't like the book. He didn't like the book reviews, so he killed them.
Yeah, I did. So, you're back with a book review now?
Yeah, feeling guilty after all that, Liam eventually said, I was talking to him recently and said, I might try and read something again.
Yeah.
I might let my eyes peruse the words of a page.
The thing that confuses me is when you were doing American Psycho, we had a discussion where you're like, there's all these book series that you'd read before that you were enjoying, you've reviewed on the podcast, and they had new entries come out, and you were like...
Well, I did... I think I stopped either in the middle or very early on in American Psycho to do the final book of We Are Bob, We Are Legion.
Oh, I didn't know you've read that.
I definitely have.
Okay.
And I think we spoke about it on the podcast, but it might have been quite early on in the Year of Darkness.
Yeah. There were definitely other books that came out that you were like, oh, I'm really excited to read that.
Yeah. There's Brandon Sanderson has released a couple of ending books to trilogies that I was reading that I loved.
What annoys me is
one of my favourite authors.
I went to Waterstones recently, and for some reason they don't have a horror section. It's horror and sci-fi.
Yeah, they've always had it combined like that. Yeah. It's weird.
And I kept seeing books that you'd reviewed in this section, and it just riled me up.
Because I read the best shit.
Is it a Crown of
Cold Silver?
Yeah, that was there.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Oh, it doesn't look it.
There's some real good books in that Waterstone section, Liam. Whew.
And you're ignoring them all.
Yeah, because you killed reading.
I know, it's brilliant. So yeah, if anything,
to ease myself back in to the pool.
Yeah.
Reading,
you went for a D&D book, right?
Yeah, because I'm on a real D&D kick at the moment. I'm watching all the bloody tabletop RPG shows, every single fucking one.
Did you start watching Relics or whatever it is?
No, I've got distracted watching Sirens of the Realms.
Okay.
And Dimension 20, for listeners that listen to my review of that, have just started their side quest series, and that is pure gold. Go listen to it. Go watch it, listeners. It's fucking beautiful. I did a D&D book.
What was it
called?
A
D&D book I settled on, Liam. It's part of a series. I've only read the first one. It's called Brimstone Angels.
Okay, so immediately I'm hearing that and I'm thinking, oh, that sounds awful. So you loved it.
Yeah. Written by Erin M. Evans.
Is that...
Published by Wizards of the Coast. Type, novel.
Wait.
Cover art.
Is it female author?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Because I think typically the assumption is that sort of fantasy books, quite male authors.
Yeah.
I'm thinking George R. R. Martin, Terry Pratchett, Tolkien. The big names tend to be male.
Yeah, all right. Calm down.
I'm not saying that men are better or anything.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's a D&D book, which means it's set in the setting of, there are a number of D&D settings.
Yeah.
This one is set in Faerun, or the Forgotten Realms, which is it's basically, for those of you that don't know, which I imagine is most of you, that's the default D&D setting.
Yeah.
That's where it's set. If you're not setting a setting, that's where you are. This book is about two tieflings, which are a race of half demon, half human.
Okay.
They have pointy horns, long tails, and traditionally in the D&D world are sort of stigmatized for being demons.
This is what you want to play, isn't it, when we do D&D?
Hell yeah, you're going to notice a trend as I tell you about this book, Liam.
Have you basically stolen your character from this book?
No, mine is pretty individual. It's just the basic premise is this.
Okay.
Because fuck yeah. I mean, mainly because it's the coolest fucking thing.
Right.
But basically it's about these two sisters, Havilah and Faraday, who are twins.
Yeah.
They've been raised by their adopted dad,
Yeah.
who is a dragonborn, which are these big dragon humanoid men. He's trying to train them both to be warriors and deal with the fact that he's a dragonborn and doesn't super know how to raise kids.
Yeah.
So he sort of has trained them in martial combat. One of them is very good at it, Havilar, and the other one, Faraday, is not so good at it. And they sort of do this thing where, like, their whole lives, whenever one of them's good at something, the other one usually gets... Everyone will be like, oh, you're the smart one, therefore you must be the stupid one. And they're sort of trying to battle with the fact that they aren't, and they both are people, but because they're twins, they're dealing with that, and the fact they're tieflings and no one likes them, and the fact they're being raised by a dragonborn and he doesn't know how to raise them properly. But the like basic premise of this book is Havilar tries to summon a demon to prove she can do it. Faraday comes into the room as that's happening and is like, holy shit, what the fuck are you doing? This is ridiculous. And then instead of summoning just a small little demon, a Cambion, which is a literal half-demon human, not a tiefling, like a full-on demon human man.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. His name is... It doesn't say his name here. Why does it not say his name? That's pretty fucking important. Oh, can't remember his fucking name.
John?
Basically, yeah, John the Cambion.
Yeah.
Havilar summons it, but Faraday ends up making a pact with this demon and becomes a warlock, which is like a person who gets their magic from a deal they made with a devil.
Yeah. Like in World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Or like D&D, where World of Warcraft stole a lot of stuff from. And then you basically have to... The book is following Faraday trying to deal with what that means now that she's got this deal.
Yeah.
Havilar trying to deal with the fact that she summoned the demon, but it's bonded with her sister, and whether to trust the demon or not.
No, never trust a demon.
And then the same with the Dragonborn dad. He's also like, oh shit, I don't want to trust a fucking demon. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And it's just all that. And then they go on this adventure to Neverwinter, which is a very famous city. There's video games based on it. It's fucking cool. But yeah, the book is like, I really loved the characters in it as like exploring what a tiefling faces in the D&D world.
Yeah. And
like the prejudice that comes with that. And then looking into that, like the demonic side of D&D. And also it's warlocks, which are just a fucking cool class in D&D. They're badass.
My first D&D character was a warlock named Garth.
Garth Marenghi.
That's where I got the idea from, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't last long, unfortunately. Made a pact with a demon and the entire party turned against him. But, okay, here's what I want to say about all that. I think having this year off of reading has helped your reviews, because that was a much better review than what we used to get. Like, I actually feel like I now have an idea of what the plot to that book was. So, I think overall, probably a good thing that you stopped reading for a year.
No. Oh, no. You're not going to get out of it that easily, Liam. You killed reading for me.
I did, yeah.
So don't try and convince yourself that you helped me, because you didn't.
If anything, I think I now read more than you do.
Ooh, I'm going to take a little bit of issue with that, because the stuff you're reading is written for children, so...
Not all of it.
It's almost like looking at a picture book, Liam, and being like, I read a lot.
I mean, there's words.
No, what you're doing does not get to count as reading. You're reading Goosebumps and Point Horror.
The Point Horror counts.
No, it doesn't. The Point Horror barely counts.
It counts.
For every 10 words of Point Horror you read, you're really reading one big boy word.
So yeah, I do think your book review was better that time.
Good.
No, yeah, I think it's... Oh, I've knocked my earphone out. I think it was good.
Liam got too excited, listeners.
I think it's good for the podcast. That's what we have to bear in mind.
Good.
What book are you going to read next? You going to keep on with this series?
I don't know, maybe.
Or are you going to read something new and exciting?
We'll see, Liam.
Maybe I'll give you a recommendation.
No, you don't get to recommend books anymore.
No, now I want to find a book to make
until
up for
you
it.
read. This is my thing.
Here we go.
Right? Until you read The Fucking Stand, you don't get to suggest any books.
But that's
anymore.
like 1,000 pages.
I don't care. You made me stop reading for a year.
Yeah.
The Stand will not take you a year to read until you read The Stand. This is the new rule, Liam. If you want me to stop reviewing, this is good because this will get me back into reading.
Oh, here we go.
I'll tell you what I'm going to read next, listeners.
Yeah.
A bunch of fucking fantasy shit and sci-fi shit. And guess what? It'll all be on the top sellers list, and I'll love them all, and they'll all be 4s, and Liam will hate it.
You'll be
and
like...
the only time I will stop and let Liam suggest books is once he reads the book that I've suggested since day one of the fucking podcast, Stephen King's The Stand.
The thing is, I have about 150 books to read until then.
Yep. So I guess you're in for a lot of me reviewing fantasy.
I'm okay with the fantasy books, right? I'm okay. My brain shuts down as soon as you start telling me what the characters are called. My brain just goes fucking ridiculous and just turns off. You're like, oh, he's called like Harvarth the elf, and I'm just like, don't care. I've just stopped listening at that point. I don't know why. Like, if I watch a fantasy film, I'm on board with it. But hearing you talk about fantasy books, I hate it.
To be fair, it's now making a bit more sense that you're reading Point Horror and Goosebumps, where every character is just like Tim and Jane.
No, okay, the Point Horror ones, they have ridiculous names sometimes. Like, the most recent one that
Didn't we have 6 Jennies?
We had 3 Jennies. The most recent one's got a Belinda and a Hildy.
Jesus, okay, fair enough.
I can't remember what the one before that was, but it was a fucking stupid name, wasn't it? Like, Margaret?
It's not a stupid name. Stop insulting people's names.
It's just an old lady name, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, I give Brimstone Angels a 4 out of 5.
I hate that title. What's the next one called in that series?
I will find out for you later.
And have you marked it as read on Goodreads?
Oh, I don't know if I have actually. I should check.
Yeah.
The next one is called Brimstone Angels, Lesser Evils.
I hate it. Yeah.
Then there's The Adversary. Then Fire in the Blood, Ashes of the Tyrant, and The Devil You Know. Ooh.
I'll be honest, right? If you took out like the Brimstone Angels part of that, a lot of those just sound like dodgy, like erotica titles.
Yeah, anything could be a dodgy erotica title.
No, but like they actually proper sound like they
Fire
could
in
be...
the Blood, Ashes of the Tyrant, and The Devil You Know. The Devil You Know and Fire in the Blood, yes.
Yeah, Ashes...
The Adversary and Ashes of the Tyrant. I would read an erotic book called Ashes of the Tyrant, but I wouldn't expect it to be a standard erotic book.
No, definitely not. No. Okay, so yeah, you're back to reading. Hooray!
Yay.
Maybe Gibbo will start listening again.
I've done other stuff, Liam.
What else have you done?
I watched season 2 of Discovery.
Star Trek.
Ooh, yeah.
See?
Star Trek Discovery.
I know the lingo. It's only because you mentioned it earlier.
It's pretty good. Pretty damn good. This series or season is...
It's on Netflix.
Basically, the first season got a bit of backlash for the format of the show, some of the ways they'd interpreted certain characters and character traits. Basically, a race of characters looks different than how it's looked in every other Star Trek thing, and the fans
it the
Klingons?
Yeah, wrinkly forehead ones.
Yeah, in the first season they look like these weird, bald, almost lizard-like people.
Well, hang
which is
on a
not
minute.
what Klingons look like.
In the original series, don't they look different as well?
Yes, they do.
So why?
And that's one of the things that I was like, I don't know. They did make them quite a bit different.
But they looked quite a bit different to like when you say Klingon, I picture the big dude in The Next Generation.
Worf.
Yeah. So that, and he's got like the really wrinkly forehead. He's got a little goatee or something, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So that's how I picture Klingons. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
But if when I watched like the original series and they were very different, I didn't really care.
No, but you're not a die-hard fan.
No, but what I'm saying is die-hard fans should be like, oh, okay, clearly they look different.
Okay. Just, I might cut this out depending on how much it flies, but I'm showing Liam a picture of... That's an original Klingon.
Yeah.
Right, let me get up a Klingon from Discovery. Right, picture those 2 things you just saw in your mind, Liam.
Yeah.
Keep them locked in there.
Very eyebrows. I mean, it looks like a completely different race.
Yes. Basically, they looked completely different.
Why?
They just made a design choice to do that, and I didn't mind.
Is there like justification for it? Like there are different like...
No, not in season 1.
Okay.
They don't justify it. But then what happened was, so they got a lot of backlash on it, and for season 2, they changed it more to fit the original style.
Yeah.
They basically gave them hair.
Yeah.
And justify it in the season. They're like, cool, we fucked up. So here's an explanation in the show that is adding lore to the series. Like, it specifically adds lore. And
so, like,
works.
Without spoiling it, what was the explanation?
It will spoil it.
Okay. But that's I can justify it, right? Because, like, if you showed an alien a picture of me and then, like, a picture of, I don't know, Will Smith, they're going to go, oh, well, they don't look the same. So
I mean, a lot of the Klingons from season 1 come back for season 2.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I totally get, like, in a galaxy, right, you have a race of Klingons, and then there are different like strands in that race.
Yeah, and they do have in season 2 they have some that look even more like the traditional ones and are like, oh, there's a subset. This clan looks like this.
That makes perfect
sense. Fine. That's what I'm saying. Season 2 explained it, Liam.
Yeah.
And everyone was fine. They also went because season 1's very dark.
Okay.
And this season gets a bit lighter with its story, like in terms of it's a bit more hopey and Star Trek-y. Whereas season 1's very much like, ooh, this is dark and sad.
Because Star Trek typically is very much like forward thinking.
Positive.
Yeah. Very inclusive.
I mean, this was forward thinking in terms of it's not discriminatory.
Yeah, no, but it's very like it took great steps to be like the first. Like I think it was the first biracial kiss on TV, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's not specifically what I'm talking about, Liam, because I'm just talking about how the first season was sad and this season's happier, and Star Trek traditionally has a happier tone.
Yeah,
the like positivity in race, like having a multicultural kiss. Yeah. That's super important. But season 1 of this season wasn't not that.
Yeah. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Was season 1 trying to go more down like a Battlestar Galactica route?
No, but it was just like it had a narrative that got dark in places. Okay. It still had funny moments and like was positive, but there was definitely like a sadder tone than is normal in Star Trek.
Yeah, fair enough.
But season 2 doesn't do that. It still got important emotional stuff, but they tried to be a bit more positive, and it works. And honestly, like I really liked it. I'm a little bit sad it didn't do a certain thing that I thought it might.
Okay.
Right at the end, I was like, ooh, this could be leading towards some really cool shit, which they haven't done this season,
but they might do it.
But they're doing a Next Generation series about Jean-Luc Picard at some point, not in Discovery. Like there's a whole new series coming out about like his early life, and I think there's a season 3 of Discovery as well.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping one of them will be like that thing that you thought we were gonna do last season. We're doing it now,
right? Yeah,
that would be fucking cool. But yeah, honestly, if anyone isn't watching Star Trek Discovery, go watch it. I think it's really good. Yeah, I know you're not. That's why I was aiming this at you.
I'll get around to it maybe, but...
No, you won't.
Well...
Yeah, so I'd probably give it... Is it a 4 out of 5? I think it's 4 out of 5.
I think we need to watch Star Trek together somehow.
Okay.
Like, not like in the same room together, but like for the podcast or some reason to watch Star Trek.
We'll do it as one of our marathons. The original series.
All 3 seasons?
Yep.
That seems awful. It's like 22 episodes a season, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a week off work.
We'll need to.
I've done one other... sorry, were you going to say another Star Trek thing?
Yeah. I was just double checking how long they are. Yeah, I don't think we should marathon it. We do need to do another Star Trek. No,
another marathon. Non-a-thon long.
It's your greatest contribution to this podcast is that name.
It's good, isn't it?
It really is good, yeah. It's bloody hell. 29 episodes in the first original series.
And are they all a half hour long?
Oh, no, 50 minutes.
God, oh, geez, yeah, so...
Let's not do that as a...
No, maybe not.
Maybe even a culture swap, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that needs to be like an... I don't know. We need to figure that out. Anyway, what was Discovery out of 5, sorry?
4 out of 5.
Cool. And it's on Netflix for anyone that wants to watch it.
Yep, on Netflix. Watch both seasons, because there's some stuff you would need to know from season 1. Yeah. I don't know if anyone would jump into a season 2, but...
Oh, some lunatic out there would.
Yeah, so if you're that lunatic,
don't.
Just watch season 1 first.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then I've done one final thing, Liam.
Okay.
I think this might pique your interest.
I'll be the judge of that.
It's a game.
Still judging.
The game I've been playing, Liam, is a little game called Magic the Gathering Arena. It's D&D, Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Recently released an online version of Magic the Gathering called Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yeah.
Which is a bit like Hearthstone.
Yeah.
In terms of like opening the packs and stuff online. Super fucking addictive. So I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering recently.
Is it like you have to pay money?
So
here we go.
It does the sort of Hearthstone style where you can open a pack and that costs 1,000 in-game gold. And 1,000 in-game gold. You only earn gold by completing objectives.
Yeah.
Like I think it is. I've not had anything different. It's usually just like. Oh, actually no, I have. So there's like a daily objective which will be win a match and you get 50 gold. Win 3 matches, you'll get 200 gold, and that like you get a few of those a day.
Yeah.
Then there's a weekly challenge which is, I think my weekly challenge at the moment is win 5 matches total in a week.
Yeah, okay.
And that'll get me a pack, just straight up give me a pack.
Yeah.
And then there's another different objective which gives you gold, which they're like weirder ones. So it's like mine's use 20 red spells to kill creatures.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. So that's how you earn the free stuff. You can pay money, of course, to get gems, which allow you to buy effectively the same price you could get a box of boosters.
Yeah.
You can buy a box of boosters in Arena.
Right, okay.
The way I did it was you get a base deck of cards anyway.
Yeah.
Then you can unlock one base deck of cards. Oh, sorry, you start with every mana type. So for listeners that don't know, Magic is a card game where you play cards, you play lands, and there are 5 different colours that cards can be. You start with a base version of each of those colours.
Yeah.
Which gets you through the tutorial, and you could play online with those.
You would not last long.
No, they're not. If you're playing against super high ranked people, they will kick your ass, obviously.
When you play online, is it against other actual people then? Like
you can. There's a practice mode where you can just play against this AI opponent that has 1 of 5 decks.
Yeah.
And she'll play you as much as you want. And her AI is not great.
Yeah.
I've already found a bunch of ways that, like, I've got certain decks that I've got that I'm like, oh, I know if I play this card, she'll not understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I what did I do the other day? I took one of her cards for a turn, and I was like, I'm going to attack with that card because you won't defend against it.
Yeah.
Because you lose your card and you lose your momentum.
Yeah.
And then she defended it and killed it, and I was like, okay, well, you've saved me a job.
Yeah.
I'd have had to kill that next turn,
yeah.
and I couldn't. So the AI is janky when you play that, understandably. It's meant to be played against other people.
Yeah.
But so as you start, you get those 5 basic decks. You can then, as you level up, and the first 10 levels are easy to do, you unlock these like unlock orbs that fill out a tree.
Yeah.
And they add more cards to each of those decks. Once you've done 1, 2, 3, 4 of... Once you've filled in 4 of the slots on that one, and 4 on another branch that's next to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's white is next to red and that sort of thing, a wheel. You can then get a combo deck, and it unlocks a whole deck that is a red, white, green, blue, all that stuff.
Yeah, which is your typical like Magic the Gathering deck would be.
Yeah, most people play
colours.
A multicolored deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get effectively 10 decks for free.
Yeah.
Of basic cards that can do all right.
Yeah.
But then because I'm an Amazon Prime member, there's a deal where I can get a whole deck unlocked just for being Prime and using Twitch Prime, which I can get for free because I'm an Amazon Prime member for a month.
Yeah.
So I did that, unlocked that deck, which gave me gems, which I used to open 10 packs or more.
Yeah.
And I unlocked some good cards. So I built my own deck, which I've been playing with, and I built myself a fun deck, Liam.
Okay.
I am playing... So, listeners, if you don't know Magic, you're going to struggle with this next bit, so just tune out for a second while I tell Liam this. I've built a green deck, Liam, that is a ramp deck, so I generate mana to get the big monsters out. Yeah. And when it ramps, it feels so fucking good. I beat a deck the other day who was also a ramp deck because I can ramp faster and get out this specific card that he had as well.
Yeah.
But I got it out a turn quicker.
Yeah.
And that meant that I could just stop all of his plans. And by the end, I had a 12/12. I have a creature that when it attacks, it adds +1/+1 for every land I control.
Okay.
Every forest I control. Yeah. My deck is just green.
Yeah.
I have a Planeswalker card. Listeners, they're cards that aren't really monsters. They sit on the side. They have weird powers.
Yeah.
If I can get her to have 8 points on her, she activates an ability where I get to put every forest in my deck onto the board tapped.
Okay.
When I do that, my creature that gets +1/+1 for every forest I have on the deck becomes a 32/32 creature with trample, which means if they block it, I still hit them.
Yeah.
So he literally just went, he was trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And by the end, he was just like, good game. And I was like, yep, good game. As my 32 creatures just went, boom, and killed him in one turn. And honestly, when you get moments like that, it does feel fucking fun.
So
when you get your ass kicked, it does struggle the same way normal Magic does, where you're like, well, fuck that.
Yeah. Is it scratching your Magic itch, or is it making you want to play with actual cards against me?
It's scratching my Magic itch.
That's annoying.
Get Magic the Gathering Arena, Liam.
Can you play against specific people?
Yeah.
Okay, I might look into it.
Yeah, have a look.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for digital cards. Is the only issue.
Yeah,
what?
But it's the same as paying for physical cards.
Yeah, no, I get that. For some reason, in my head, I'm like, I don't mind paying physical cards, but I don't like the thought of paying for digital. I don't know why. It's just there's a disconnect in my head.
The reason I prefer the digital is I will get more use of them. If I buy physical cards, I'll play them against you, and that's it. Yeah. And it'll be a waste of my money. Whereas this, I can play online.
So I need to move to Basingstoke, then we can go to the Magic Night and play at the Magic Night and...
Where I could play against like 5 people. When I play online, I can play against the fucking world, Liam. I play against the world.
Yeah, but do you win?
I've been doing alright with this new deck I've built.
See, that's what would annoy me as well. Like, just trying to build a deck with just like... Because I would not pay money, so I'd try and have to unlock all these packs and stuff. And like with Hearthstone...
You do... So, when you get the online boosters,
yeah,
you unlock these cards. Every now and again, you'll get a card that's just like a grey. So it's whatever rarity card you would have got.
Yeah.
You'll get a grey card with a symbol on it.
Yeah.
And you can use those to get any card that matches that rarity.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you get more of them, you can start to be like, well, I know I want this card in my deck.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that card to get that card.
Right. I'll look into it. What would you give it out of 5?
At the moment, like a 4.5. I'm loving playing a card game online again.
Because you got well into Hearthstone for a while, and then that will stop.
Yeah. I go back every now and again, but I'm not in the main meta at the moment.
Yeah, with the Magic the Gathering Arena. So with the physical card deck, every I think 3 months they release like a new set. Does the Arena match it?
The sets are identical. You're getting the same as the physical cards. War of the Spark just dropped, and that's all the decks I got with that, which is cool.
I still want to play the physical one at some point against you though.
Well, I'm not buying cards.
Ridiculous.
I'll play on my computer, and you can use physical cards, and I'll just tell you.
I back when I was trying to get really into it, I played over Skype with someone with physical cards. It was
the problem would be that
fun.
My game would be going, well, I can't replicate blocking a card that doesn't exist in the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, like you wouldn't be able to do it via the game. I'm saying like with someone I played on Skype with someone else that also had physical cards.
Yeah.
It was just it didn't have the same appeal as playing against an actual person. Is that everything?
Yep, that's all my stuff.
Housekeeping.
Let's keep the house.
So, listeners, if you've managed to stick through the whole Magic the Gathering thing, I admire your dedication. Well done. I understand that whole section you just listened to, entirely just for me and Ellie, really.
Oh yeah, no, 100% listeners, I apologise, but that was just me and Liam talk. Yeah. Unless you're a Magic the Gathering fan, in which case you were probably like, oh, I'm glad that they're playing it.
Well, one of us is.
Or Ellie's playing it.
So, I wasn't really looking forward to this housekeeping because we had an email from Frankie and it's just an anime update and I haven't read it yet, but wasn't looking forward to it. But then when I logged into our Gmail, I saw we've got another email from Frankie, which is an Efron update, which I haven't read yet. So I'm so excited for that. But first, before we get the delicious dessert, we've got to eat our greens and listen to the anime update. So Frankie says, hello. So this time around, it's an anime update. I could easily have sent another F1 update, but I thought it best to give Ellie and listeners a break. And I've had 2 High School Musical dreams in the last couple of weeks, and no Troy in either. So that's a sign, right? Watch other people? Haha, we'll see how that goes. I just found out F1 is a doctor in Parkland, so now I'm very curious. But wait, no more F1 talk. Look, he is a doctor in Parkland. He's barely in it.
No. Read out Frankie's email. You're getting an F1 email, so shut your mouth.
So I watched the first 5 episodes of Eureka 7, and this is so good. Thanks for mentioning it, Ellie. I'd never heard of it before then. I'm enjoying how fun it is. Loved Holland right from the start. And then Tauho.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Was introduced a few eps in, and I love her too. And seeing they have a bit of a thing, well, I can't wait to see where that goes. A lot of the supporting characters seem great. I look forward to seeing where the plot goes and how much we learn about all the characters. I didn't realise at first that this was a long show, so I definitely won't be watching it all via rental. It would take forever. We'll be looking on eBay in the next few weeks to pick up the set. And Liam, I think you might like it. Definitely looks to be a strong coming-of-age story for the main character.
Yep. But you won't watch it because he's stubborn.
I'd listen to Frankie. We're going to do one of her other recommendations, aren't we? It's just you that I don't trust. Frankie said, and also Liam, I just want to throw another title at you because I've just started rewatching it and I think you might enjoy it. I've already recommended this one to Ellie. Kill la Kill. It's not what you asked for. It's a super violent, high energy, weird action show. Definitely has none of the realism that you'll get in Shinsekai Yori, but it's a lot of fun and it does have a school setting. The reason I think you might like it is because you liked Ripley best in Lumberjanes. I may be way off, but I feel like the tone of the show is her personality. But the show has such a strong style that you'll be able to tell instantly if you want to continue from watching the first episode. I'm having a lot of fun revisiting it. Have you seen this one, Ellie?
I've not watched it yet. I'm finishing season 3 of Sword Art Online, which I found out was released in Japan, so I'm quickly watching that before I start Frankie's recommendations.
Well, we're doing one of her recommendations, don't forget, for
Yeah, but I'm
future-
also doing
the other ones.
Yeah, I asked Frankie for a list of recommendations on Twitter.
Frankie said that she's happy to hear Ellie is now using Crunchyroll. Hope this means we'll get a lot of anime reviews in the future. I would love to hear what she thinks of shows I've recommended, and also hear about other shows I can check out too. This is not anime related, but have either of you watched Dark on Netflix? Which I don't think we have. It's the German show that when it was released was like marketed as being similar to Stranger Things.
Oh no, I haven't. I remember hearing about it.
I think it's German. But yeah, me and Kat were going to watch it as well. But we typically will watch a show as we have dinner, and the problem with like a subtitle show is you can't like eat and watch.
Yeah. Just watch it.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
Yeah, I know. If not, I highly recommend it. Possibly my favourite of all shows I've seen on Netflix. Definitely an Ellie type of show at least, but I recommend it to both of you. Second season is out late June, so good time to jump in. You probably have a huge culture swap list, but if you haven't seen Dark, then I suggest it for that. Would love to hear your full thoughts on it. I think we should definitely add that.
Yeah. Frankie, we do not have a long culture swap list, because ages ago we asked for people to fill it in, and it's got down to the point where it's like stuff that I'm like,
vetoing.
no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. It's like Sir Billy. We should start a new culture swap list.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. How about this? When we get to episode... Wait. Let me just see if this is realistic. Yeah. When we get to episode 100, we'll burn our current culture swap list and start a new one.
Okay.
Which is 13 episodes away.
All right. Okay.
So what, by the end of this year?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be a shorter email, but nope. I guess because I listen to your podcast, I feel a bit like I know you both, so I'm more chatty. But for you, I'm just a weird girl on the internet sending you long emails. Ha ha. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm. Every time I see that we have an email from Frankie, I get so happy. Especially when the email's titled "Another F1 Update."
Yep.
Oh, here we go. All right, strap in. Are you ready?
Yep.
Ooh, I'm not going to be able to read all of this email.
Because you got spoilers?
Yeah, so I just thought I'd get this to you now while I have thoughts, especially having just watched Extremely Wicked. There's not really any spoilers in this. I talk a bit about Extremely Wicked and what they show or don't show, so maybe don't read that if you haven't watched it yet and don't want to know anything at all.
I just realised I had a fourth culture swap thingy, which is
Extremely Wicked?
that. Yeah, I watched it the other day.
Well,
I'll do it.
We don't have Sky Cinema.
Oh.
So I haven't been able to see it yet. Which is really frustrating. I don't know if we're eventually getting it on Netflix, or I don't know how I'm going to see it.
Well, see, I've seen a Zephron film that you haven't seen.
I know, it's annoying. But yeah, so I won't read that. But she says that she hasn't mentioned too much in detail. She was more just really impressed by Zach's performance. Anyway, here are the films
he does,
I've watched since
he does a
last
really
time.
good job.
Yeah, I mean, Kat said that she's read mixed reviews online about it, and that some people are saying it's boring. I think I'm probably going to like it, but...
It's I don't know if boring is the right word, because it's interesting if you're a fan of true... That's the thing, is it's almost documentary-esque, like not really, because it is a story, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's very much like, here's this court case, and here's Ted Bundy doing these things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to watch it. I'm just annoyed that it's, like, for some reason Sky Cinema got exclusive rights in the UK, and I'm not going to subscribe to Sky.
I think they helped make it.
I don't know, but...
I think they did, because it said a Sky Cinema production.
Yeah, but then again, like, Netflix have been promoting it in America as, like, a Netflix exclusive.
No, I don't know.
So, it's just frustrating. Anyway, so we start with The Greatest Showman, which we've both seen.
Yep.
This film was brilliant, but so hard for me to objectively judge. That bar scene with Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman, I don't even have a list of favourite scenes of the year, but if I did, that would top it. It blew me away. It was just so perfect. Not just for Zac and Hugh and the song, but even the bartender's choreography with them. Fun fact, the bartender was the guy that choreographed that entire sequence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was watching an interview with Zac Efron the other day, and he was like discussing that scene.
Yeah, that's my favourite song from the film.
Yeah, same. So good. The song with Zendaya was pretty great too. Another one that looked really good to watch. The rest of the film was a bit of a mix. Some was good, some just okay. I am glad that the world's best opera singer didn't sing opera. I'd have to give this a rewatch to be able to judge it properly. For now, it stays with a really high rating, pretty much just for that bar scene.
Yep.
Then she saw Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. This film was a bit similar to Baywatch in that some of the jokes didn't work for me and the story wasn't much, but the cast made it enjoyable. But I enjoyed Baywatch a lot more. I really enjoyed seeing Zac Efron and Anna Kendrick together. Those few moments where they were off on their own having chats were pretty cute. Aubrey Plaza was great once again. Not much to say about this one, it was just good fun. Then we've got Bad Neighbours 2 Sorority Rising. Okay, so as I go to write about this one, I realise his character is called Teddy and he's hanging out with sorority girls, dealing with rejection and feeling aimless in life. That's a bit weird now I've seen Extremely Wicked. Imagine if this had turned into a serial killer film. But anyway, I quite enjoyed this one. Not quite so much as the first. I think that has the edge because the guys were a bit more interesting. But this had some great things. I still find it amusing how dumb Zach's character is. So enjoyed some scenes where he needs stuff explained to him. And the scene where Seth is teaching him how to cook with boiling water. Why does it make eggs hard when it makes pasta soft? Then we have New Year's Eve. Zac Efron and John Bon Jovi. This one had my attention, even though who knows when I would have watched it if not for this project. Zac was actually part of the best storyline, I think, of all of them. Apart from the very beginning with all the girls on the street staring after him, he played a bit more of a normal role in this. It was okay, bit too cheesy at the end, but I've had worse from other Zac films, so I've built up a tolerance now. And then she talks about Extremely Wicked, which I'm going to skip for now, and I'm going to come back and read that once I've seen Extremely Wicked. She put, and that's it. Hang on, and that's it for a bit. I'm still on the break for a bit, probably until next month. I think I'll then be looking at his oldest stuff to get that out of the way, as it's not what I want to leave until last. I'm not completely sure on my ranking at the moment. I feel like there could be a couple of swaps, but generally this is how I'm feeling now. So we've got a total of 13 Zac Efron films that Frankie has seen and ranked. I'll go through them real fast. In last place we have The Lucky One, 12th place we have We Are Your Friends, 11th place The Paperboy, 10th place 17 again, 9th place New Year's Eve, 8th place Bad Neighbours 2, 7th place Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, 6th place Neighbours, 5th place Dirty Grandpa, 4th place The Greatest Showman, 3rd place Extremely Wicked, 2nd place Baywatch, and 1st place Charlie St. Cloud. Frankie said that she went to get her hair done on Friday, and I always talk to my hairdresser about what we've watched on Netflix since the previous appointment, and she said how she'd seen Baywatch and loved it, saw it twice because after she watched it and loved it, she then watched it with her boyfriend. So I told her about my project and we had this big chat about his films. I'm not used to this. Most of my loves are not well known, and half the time people don't even know who I'm talking about when I mention my favourite actors or directors. I would love to find someone at work that could talk Herzog or Lynch films with me. Anyway, got to go get ready for work. I'm running a little behind schedule now. Efron is so distracting.
I hope you're not running behind schedule now, because that would be insane. Although, wait, no, you sent this email recently, so you actually could still be running behind schedule.
Yeah.
Hope you got into work on time, Frankie.
Yeah. I love Frankie's Zac Efron emails. They're the best part of this show at the moment, I think.
I like the anime ones.
I just realised I didn't do a little housekeeping intro.
Oh, you know, you didn't. Oh, wow, Liam's already. Wow, 2 weeks in and Liam's fucked it.
I've got to keep them on their toes. If I did it every week, it would become like expected.
Yeah.
So
sure.
We didn't even do like any like housekeeping, keep the house bullshit that we normally do.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I blocked it out.
See, listeners, this is what I mean. He pays me no attention.
We got tweets. Tom Hogan at the Tomothy tweeted us saying, "My God, that Nerd on Nerd housekeeping intro. Was waiting for it. Still didn't expect it. Was very pleased. Took me a second to even realise what had happened." You know. So this is why I can't do it
this
every
time,
week.
really.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Disappointing because everyone was excited. Tom will have been sitting there going, "Ooh, what's the latest housekeeping intro Liam's going to do?" And you ballsed it.
Yeah, no, I can't do it every time. Otherwise, when I do it, it won't be special.
No, that's a bad excuse.
Yeah, whatever. I forgot. Frankie tweeted
Say sorry
us.
for letting Tom down.
Sorry, Tom. Maybe next time. Although I don't know how I topped last times, to be honest, so maybe not. Maybe I'll just stop there, go out on a high.
Jesus, wow, 2.
Yep. Frankie tweeted us saying, "I've had many hairstyles and colours over the years. I love hair talk, so I actually quite enjoyed that conversation. I wouldn't even mind updates on your colours. Can totally relate to Ellie step by step with the red. Sometimes you need to take it slow and have time to adjust."
I am now full red.
Full red. She said, "Also, that housekeeping intro, it took me a second to click that it actually was the housekeeping intro, and I just had to laugh at how insane it was. Loved it." There's a lot of love for that housekeeping intro, and this one...
and I can't believe you fucked it this episode.
Absolutely fucked it. Also, Liam, glad you liked the Efron emails. I've only just heard what you thought and already have watched 3 or 4 films, but I'll be taking a break after the next one, no 2, because I have a rental on the way and extremely viral next week. And I like that Ellie is the voice of reason on this, so ensure no cult is formed. The whole like Efron stuff, I think.
Yeah, you guys are forming a cult.
Yeah. Yeah, then she said, "Extremely wicked, I should say. Too many words in that title. Thought it sounded a bit weird when I used vile instead. I guess either one works though." And then I tweeted her when she said she was having a break, saying, "Are you taking a break because the films that are left are the sort of films that only a completionist would bother with? Like the Derby Stallion, basically."
Yeah.
And Frankie said, "Oh no, I will be watching every film I can find, just taking a break because I've watched so many so close together. It won't be a very long break. I'm enjoying this project.
Fair.
So that's good. Then we had another tweet from Frankie where she was saying that her rentals arrived and she was having a bit of a nerd on nerd night as she was going to watch a few episodes of Eureka 7 on your recommendation, and then she was watching New Year's Eve for the Zac Efron project. Amanda tweeted us when I tweeted saying the things I do for this podcast with an image of me about to watch 50 Shades Darker. Amanda tweeted us saying yes. And then when Frankie tweeted us about the hairstyle and the colours and having updates, Amanda said, I second all of this, bring on the hair updates. And then Amanda said that she really liked Liam's thing about him and Kat saying positive things about the day at bed. She might steal that for Jeremy and me, which I believe you were making fun of that last time.
Yeah, I am, and I still am going to, because, Liam, I'm your single friend, so it's my job to point out all the lovey-dovey shit you lot do and be like, look at all that bullshit, and then when the cameras stop rolling, I go and cry.
Good.
I'm going to go to bed tonight and I'm going to tell myself 3 nice things that happened and then cry.
Was one of them recording with me?
No, I go, my first one is I go, I'm really glad that I've got a girlfriend/boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then I cry.
Yeah.
And then I go, I'm really glad that I'm not alone. And then I cry.
Yeah.
And then the final one is I go, Frankie enjoyed the anime.
Fair enough. Amanda tweeted us saying that she's paused the episode to clarify whether she can handle this movie or not. One Cut of the Dead. Zombies in particular terrify her. Shaun of the Dead was a horrible viewing experience which caused nightmares. So Ellie, where does it land next to that? And then you fucking responded saying, okay, yeah, I would maybe skip this film, which annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing that I want to clarify here, because Liam and Kat both immediately jumped on me like I was some sort of traitor to this weird religion of One Cut of the Dead. I want to clarify. If Amanda had nightmares from Shaun of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
There is a part of this film that Amanda will not like.
Is that? Wait, no. Let me ask you this. By the end of the film, is there still a part that she won't like?
But I don't know if that matters.
I think it does.
Because if the part we're talking about freaks her the fuck out, then just having the rest of it happen won't solve that. That's not how it works.
I don't know.
It's like when someone scares you with a spider and then they get rid of the spider. You don't go, oh, yeah, I'm good now. You're like, yeah, fuck, that was terrifying.
This is why I want her to see it, though. Like, what I'm saying is...
Exactly. This is what I wanted to clarify, is that Liam and Kat getting on my case is not them being like, oh, Ellie, fuck you. It's them both being like, I just want to know if Amanda can handle it.
No,
fuck you.
I think we both me and Kat agree that Amanda can handle this, because she might have said that Shaun of the Dead was a horrible viewing experience which caused nightmares, but I don't think this would be the same.
No, and that's fine. But you were so aggressive at me.
Yeah. So you said maybe skip this film, and I just tweeted saying I disagree, and then I tagged Kat in it and said, do you think Amanda could handle One Cut of the Dead?
Yeah, and Kat immediately called your girlfriend in.
Yeah, she fights all my best battles for me. Kat then said, yes, Amanda, you definitely could. I don't want to give a lot away so publicly, but I think you'd appreciate the film for what it does. And then you did like a little like shruggy emoji.
Yeah.
And then Kat just responded to that, just saying, just face it, Ellie, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. And then you said the problem is there is 100% stuff.
The shrug wasn't even me being like, whatever. It was me being like, okay, I don't know. These two are saying you can, so go for it.
And then you said the problem is there's 100% stuff we could say to give Amanda a better idea of whether or not it's for her, but we can't say any of it without spoiling the film, hence the shrug. And Amanda said, okay, looks like I need to add this one to my list then. But transpires that she can't really find it anywhere, so she might not get around to watching it anyway. But still, don't listen to our culture swap until you have watched it, and I do think you can handle it. Ignore Ellie. And
I'm saying go for it if you want to go for it, Amanda.
I'm saying go for it.
Okay.
That was housekeeping. Did I keep the house?
No,
yes,
it fucking wasn't. 1,097.
Yeah. 1,090.
Good job. Swap my culture.
Wait. What's the lowest it's ever been?
1,061.
Oh, fuck. I've got ages to go. All right. Swap my culture. Culture swap.
What did we do
bullshit.
This time, Liam?
So, listeners, I said to Ellie that I'm going to deliberately tank this culture swap. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't think anyone would find it half as amusing as I would.
Exactly, yeah.
But let me be clear now, listeners. Just because we don't have a particularly long list of things to do for culture swap doesn't mean that we're going to instantly do anything you suggest if we think that it would be better suited for a different part of the show, such as housekeeping, which is what this should have been.
The problem is, what the listeners want, Liam, is they want us to suffer. That's part of the joy of listening to these sort of podcasts.
Yeah.
Is you want the host to suffer. So if you just get to have your way and put things in housekeeping when you don't want...
No,
because that's not how housekeeping works. Housekeeping isn't me and you watch something together and then talk about it. So what's the point? No one wants to hear our individual thoughts on 50 Shades Darker spoiler-free. They want to hear how we suffered.
Here's the thing. I still suggest things for us to suffer with. Like, the 50 Shades porn parody wasn't me being like, oh, this is going to be a wonderful time for us. Like, they still get us suffering. I'm kind to the listeners like that. It's
no,
just...
you aren't.
You're
trying to defend yourself.
No.
You hoped that watching a porno would be better than watching a film.
And I think it was. This is, I think, the first time in Nerd on Nerd history where we have done a culture swap that is a sequel to a previous culture swap.
I disagree.
Go on.
We did all 3 Feast films in a culture swap.
No, we did the first one in a culture swap, and then the 2 and 3 were in a housekeeping. Trust me, it's on YouTube.
You said that so like... That sounded like, oh, I don't know, a weird, arrogant, but like, I don't know. I can't explain. Anyway, that's fine. We should have done them as culture swaps.
No, we should not. That'd have been awful. Anyway, so yeah, this should have been we should have still synced up and done it on the same housekeeping like we did with the feast, because we did that on a housekeeping because you came over for a weekend.
Yeah, but I don't think that works for housekeeping.
I don't give a fuck. It's better than doing a whole culture
unfortunately, Liam, I'm 50% of the podcast.
Yeah, but so am I.
Give a fuck.
Yeah, but so am I.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So it's a discussion. You don't just get to go, I don't give a fuck. We have to talk these things through. Not on the podcast.
No, we should do it on the podcast.
No.
It would be more interesting.
We're talking about 50 Shades Darker.
Oh, do we have to, though? What?
Who directed it, Liam?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, buddy.
It was a different director to the first one.
James Foley.
Who?
Everyone knows that.
Who was in it?
Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, Eric Johnson, Rita Ora, Luke Grimes, Victor Rasuk, Kim Basinger, Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah, that was all the important ones.
I can't tell you who any of those people played.
Oh, I can.
I can tell you that Dakota Johnson was
Anastasia
the main
Steele.
lady.
Jamie Dornan was Christian Grey, obviously. Eric Johnson was her like dickhead boss, Jack Hyde, who they're clearly setting up to be a villain for the 3rd film. Ridiculous. Eloise Mumford was Kate Kavanagh. I don't know.
Nope.
Wasn't that her friend? Like, she's literally in one scene at the end of like the engagement party.
Oh, isn't she also at the beginning? She's the one that's hooking up with his brother.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You had Bella Heathcote, who played Leela, who was the ex.
The submissive.
Yeah.
The ex-submissive.
Yeah. Rita Ora played his sister. Luke Grimes played his brother. Victor Razak played the photographer guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Kim Basinger was his old
dominatrix.
dominatrix.
Ex-dominant who sexually abused him.
Yeah. And Marcia Gay Holden was the mum.
Fair enough.
So Marcia,
Do you want to know a fun fact,
Gay
Liam?
Harden. Sorry.
Do you want a fun fact?
I'd love one.
This film received 9 nominations, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Actress, and won 2 for Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel, and Worst Supporting Actress in the 38th Golden Raspberry Awards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No.
Would you like to know a fun fact?
Yes. It's not that fun if you have to look one up.
I'm trying to find a really fun fact.
Ooh.
There isn't one.
Good times. What's the... Do you want me to tell people the vague plot of this film?
Oh, no, wait. Did you watch the Unmasked edition?
No, I couldn't get that on Amazon.
Right, I've got a fun fact then.
Go on.
In the trailer, it shows Anna and Christian shooting pool, but the scene is only present in the unrated version of the film.
Oh, I didn't see them playing pool.
I saw them playing pool.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So they have a game where she's like, oh, if I win, you take me to the red room. And he's like, what happens if I win? Oh, I can't remember, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Stupid.
I mean, this whole film is ridiculous and stupid. This film, the plot vaguely is she's now working at her publishing company.
Yeah. Do you remember in the last film how they split up at the end?
Yeah. They, reconcile that within, 5-10 minutes.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Christian, they're at a photo thing that her mate's thrown. A load of her photos are up and she's like, oh my god, why are all these photos of me on the wall? And he's like, because they're my best photos. And it's a bit weird that he hasn't asked her permission for that.
That's really weird.
Yeah. It's that running theme of, I believe in the first one as well, he is sort of attracted to her.
Yeah, that seems to be the impression.
And then she just blanks that completely.
Well, he's not a millionaire sadomasochist.
Oh, he is now, because bloody Christian buys all those blooming photos of her, doesn't he?
Which is creepy.
Yeah, really creepy.
Like
super fucking creepy.
Imagine if you went to a photo exhibition and just brought a bunch of pictures of your ex.
Yeah, that's
not normal.
Fucking weird. And she's like, why did you do that? And he's like, oh, because I knew it would embarrass you, because I know you so well. And she's like, I love you, Christian.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She's got a boss. Her boss is a bit of a creeper.
Yeah.
But not yet, really. He's just sort of a bit like, oh, you're hot. He doesn't say that, but that's the implication. Yeah. Christian does some bullshit that Christian does, as per usual, like, oh, I'm going to buy the company. And she's like, well, don't do that, because that's you interfering with my job, and then I'll be sleeping with the boss's boss, which
does
is
it anyway.
Creepy. And then his argument is, well, no, it's fine, because I'm actually doing it because I want to get into publishing. That doesn't solve the problem, Christian. You're just giving a reason.
Yeah.
He's a bit like you, Liam.
If I was super rich, maybe, but I'm not. So
yeah, that's the kind of thing you would do if you were super rich. Except you would also have like put all of Kat's photos up so that you could buy them.
What I would have done is I'd have bought all of the photos and then I'd have put them up in the publishing place where she's just an assistant. Yeah. It's just there's literally two things I want to talk about in this film. So keep going. And
that's fine.
I'll jump in when I'm interested.
We're spoiling this film, by the way. We're spoiling this film massively. So they're back together. Anna's got some new rules. She doesn't want to live by the submissive rules that she used to live by. They're in a goddamn relationship, and they're going to respect each other in the way that two consenting adults do. Hint: they won't, and their relationship will remain problematic for the entire fucking film. She doesn't want to be a sub anymore. There's going to be no punishments. She wants to touch him. He never lets her touch him. That's his thing.
She can touch him, but not only in certain places. He draws like essentially
that's
a vest.
What I'm saying. In the original film, she was like not allowed to touch him.
Right.
And she's like, no, if we're going to be in a relationship, I want to touch you. So he gets her to draw a square on him.
It's more like a vest, isn't it? Like he essentially draws an outline of a vest.
No, it's a square.
Oh, okay.
It's a rectangle on his body.
Right. He's got scars.
But yeah.
Did you see those in the first film?
I think you do.
Okay.
Because he's topless in the first film. But yeah, they show a very brief clip at the beginning where his dad is abusing him.
Yeah, I don't care.
So he's got all these abuse marks from being abused. So after making this big statement about how she's not going to be a submissive anymore, they're about to go to a masquerade ball, which me and Liam have both seen in the context of a porn parody of these films. Where he walks into the bathroom where she's getting ready and says, bend over.
Yeah.
She says, I think she does it, but then goes, you're not putting those in my arse. And then he's like, ha 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 ha, they don't go in your arse. And then she goes, oh, okay. And I was like, hold on a minute, Anna. You just had a huge thing about how you're not going to be the submissive. You are immediately being his submissive.
Yeah.
So she puts some balls in her vagina.
Yeah.
They go to a masquerade ball.
Yeah. She loves it.
She loves it. She, of course, my God, she sells for the highest price again, which he pays. Or she bids some shit or something. I don't care. It's all more bullshit. Everyone just spends the entirety of the ball coming up to Anna and being like, you're the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen. All the women are like, my God, Anna, you're the most beautiful girl in the world.
Yeah.
Then the creepy ex-dominatrix is like, oh, you're going to ruin Christian's life. Oh, you're not good enough for Christian. And she's like, well, you're a child abuser.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to listen to you. And the audience are like, yeah, she should be in jail.
Yeah.
Then some more bullshit happens. At some point, he's in a helicopter and nearly dies. Some ex-submissive...
That scene just seemed like thrown in out of nowhere, right?
What does it happen?
Just ridiculous.
Honestly, I think I glanced away for like a second where I was like, looked at my phone or something. I looked up and there was a helicopter crashing and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, he's just there with like some assistant and it's like, what's going on? And then the helicopter starts going down and you're like, oh, okay.
Yep. An ex-submissive of his that has been sort of stalking Anna throughout the film. You've seen her every now and again.
Yeah.
She turns up at Anna's apartment with a gun. Again, we've seen this in the porn parody. Christian stops her killing Anna by, air quotes, dominating her.
How does it all work out in the porn parody?
The same.
Okay.
I think she's about to shoot Anna and then he gets her to kneel down. I can't remember if he then fucks her in the porn parody.
That's what I'm thinking. Did they all have a big threesome?
They might have.
Yeah.
In this, he gets her to kneel. He takes the gun off her.
Yeah.
And then tells Anna to leave the room. I don't know what the implication there is, but it gets her to leave the room so he can deal with it.
I think, like, I could be way wrong, but I think it's just he maybe doesn't want her to see that side of him with another person that is submissive, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't care.
That would make sense. It's then like
there's still two things I want to talk about, and we've not touched on either of them yet.
That's fine. I've got one more paragraph.
Okay.
I've skipped a lot of this. This is the end of the film. They go to his birthday party. The ex-dominatrix lady, who's the abuser, is like, "You're a gold digger. You're not with him because you love him. You just want his money."
Yeah.
Anna's like, "Fuck you." Then the mum turns up. Oh, they've got engaged. Then the mum turns up.
Anna throws her drink on the dominatrix lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she throws a drink on her. Then the mum turns up. Christian's mum turns up, slaps the ex-dominatrix, and says, "Get out of this party and my house."
Yeah.
And then you see, oh yeah, I missed a whole thing. Then you see her ex-boss standing, staring creepily.
Yeah, because he did try it on with her, and then he got fired over.
He does attempt to rape her.
Yeah. Well,
then,
no, I don't think he attempts to rape her, but he definitely stops her from leaving a room and gets a bit gropey.
And says, "You're coming on." Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you need to come on this work holiday with me."
Yeah.
She's like, "No." He's like, gets all very aggressive.
Yeah.
And then, because this film's all about strong, independent women who won't be a man submissive, Anna runs out of the room crying and gets Christian to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, why not?
Yeah.
She's no one submissive, is old Anna.
Not a soul.
Right, so what are the things you want to touch on, Liam?
Right. At one point, she goes into Christian Grey's childhood bedroom.
Yep.
And there is a very clear, very distinctive poster on the wall for Chronicles of Riddick. Why?
He liked Chronicles of Riddick.
Right, but everything we know about Christian Grey's character does not imply that he's the sort of guy that grew up watching Chronicles of Riddick.
I super love the idea that the whole Christian Grey we've been seeing, like, the first film is him putting forward his dom personality, right? So you're always only seeing that. In the second film, you think that he's got rid of that and he's now being nice, but clearly he isn't. We see him do a lot of dominating stuff that she's totally into. So, my personal theory is that there is an entire side to Christian Grey that Anna doesn't see, that none of us see, which is him watching Chronicles of Riddick every night because he just loves Vin Diesel.
Okay. So I imagine
he's got a costume that he wears that he's had made that is the Riddick outfit with goggles.
I mean, the thing is, right, someone made that decision to put that poster in such a prominent place, and I want to know the thought process behind that.
I would love it to be in the book. Very specifically, she's like, and there's a big Chronicles of Riddick poster on the wall.
But it just, as I was watching it, that entire scene, I was just distracted, being like, why that poster? For it wasn't even a hugely successful film. If it was like, I don't know, Fight Club, for example, I'd be like, okay, typical.
Cliche.
Yeah, exactly, standard. Nothing of note there.
Maybe less so when it's coming from a billionaire white guy. I feel like the moral lesson of Fight Club, if a rich white dude has the poster up, you're sort of like, oh, you've missed the point.
What would a poster be that you'd be like, that's acceptable?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't get why Chronicles of Riddick.
No, that I will admit that is a fucking weird choice.
Yeah. So there was that, and also the only redeeming thing about this film, the Taylor Swift and Zayn Malik song.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the name of the song?
I can't remember. I've been listening to her all day and have got me stuck in my head.
It's a good song.
Yes,
I like the bit where they go, "Hey kids, spelling is fun."
Yeah.
That's my favourite bit of that song. Because I used to love spelling as a kid. And having the funness of spelling validated by Taylor Swift, what more could you want, really?
A couple of balls shoved up my ass.
Well, what, by Christian Grey?
No.
It was called I Don't Want to Live Forever.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It is Zayn Malik, isn't it?
I don't know. You keep telling me that, so I've just assumed you're right.
I mean, on Spotify, it's listed as just Zayn. So now I guess
it's him.
Here we go. Yeah, Zayn Malik. I know my One Directioners. Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Liam Payne. I think there's another one. Song. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
there we go.
Here's the thing.
Listeners, if you're still playing the game from the beginning of the episode, that was a definite moment. If you said that sigh was the moment, I'll give you points.
It's just like, the reason why I didn't want to do this is because I didn't think we'd have anything new to say on top of the first film. And then you said, oh, well, we haven't watched it, so we can't say that. And now that we have watched it, it's still a problematic portrayal of BDSM. It's maybe problematic for different reasons, but it's still problematic, and I still didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so let's talk about why it's problematic.
But the problem we've reached is I don't care.
I mean, you should care, because if people just sit down and see problematic shit and don't do stuff, that's how you get bad stuff happening.
Yeah, but we've had bad stuff happen. We've had 50 Shades Darker happen.
Yeah, but we haven't had 50 Shades Freed yet.
It's going to be just as bad.
What if it isn't? What if that's the best one?
Why don't you watch it and tell me? On a housekeeping.
No, I think next Mother's Day.
I don't think so. I think we find something better to do. I think what we should have done for this Mother's Day is my idea of annoying everyone by doing that Game of Thrones porn parody. Now, that would have been good. But no, we've done 50 Shades Darker.
Anyway, this film, Liam...
No dick in it.
No dick. Still no dick.
See some man bush.
We didn't think we saw vagina.
No, I'm fairly certain we didn't. But the problem is, I watched this 2 weekends ago now, and it was so forgettable.
It's a very forgettable film.
Yeah, like I know you definitely see Dakota Johnson naked in it, but I think she's like sat on his lap in a weird like way, and you don't see like vagina in it.
Yeah. The problem I've got is I can remember the porn parody better than I can remember this film, so I have to keep referencing the porn parody to remember what happens in this film.
You definitely see dick and vagina in that.
You see a lot of dick and vagina.
Yeah.
This film, so like Liam said, the first film had a problem with portraying BDSM, where it sort of implied this like brokenness to doms, where like they're only doing it because they're fucked up.
He's 50 Shades of fucked up.
Exactly, that's one of the best quotes from the first film. This film does exactly the same bullshit, where like it dives more into Christian Grey's abused past and by dives in, I mean briefly shows a couple of clips and reminds you that it happened. Sort of implies, I mean, it maybe portrays it mildly healthier in the fact if she hadn't been like, I don't want to be your submissive, and instead had been like, look, I think you're doing it wrong. Like, all this film would need to make their portrayal slightly better is, I still want to do BDSM with you, which she clearly does.
Yeah, she does.
I want a milder version, and I want to like be eased into it all. That would have made so much more sense than her saying, I don't want to do it, and then doing a bunch of very mild BDSM.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous, right? Like, she undermines herself. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's part of it. Is it feels like it's meant to be empowering to her.
It's not.
And I think the film just misses that entirely with all the bullshit of like,
but it's,
like I said, it's her running to Christian Grey with every problem. And that's not me belittling. Like, she was about to be sexually abused, and and that is sexual abuse what that guy was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, yeah, definitely go and get help. It's just the fact that they're trying to set up this like Anna is this strong free, and she kicks him in the balls. So that's she gets out of there. So that's empowered, I guess. But it's the fact that she then runs to Christian Grey and gets him to just deal with the problem, which he does by getting him fired. I thought that was going to be a point. I thought because he says to her, "Oh, he's no longer working at the company."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, in the first film, she had a massive issue with him meddling in her company. So I was sort of expecting this to be a point where she's like, well, look, that's not the way to deal with that. Like, we should report it to the police and gone through the proper stuff, got him fired that way instead of just sort of underhandedly doing it. But instead, she's just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So it's all just very wrong. But then this film decides to not only besmirch BDSM, but to also throw in some, like, the reverse. Let's hit the mentally ill with a bit of like, oh, when you're crazy, you're just like this weird submissive who wants to kill everyone. That's how mentalness works.
Yeah.
It's just wild. The portrayal of that ex-submissive is so disgusting.
Yeah, but I mean, I expected nothing less from this film. Like, the first film showed us that E.L. James doesn't understand how BDSM works on a fundamental level. So I'm not surprised she can't get her head around how, like, you know, a mental illness should be portrayed. I
genuinely want to know if anyone out there likes 50 Shades of Grey, or if anyone out there has because I know that's the whole thing, right? Is everyone's like, oh, 50 Shades of Grey was for mum.
Yeah.
Well, my mum hates 50 Shades of Grey, so I can't ask her because I know she doesn't like it. So I want to hear from someone who has either like a parent or themselves that likes it, to just tell me what they are enjoying about these films. Because I genuinely want to know. Because I can't see it. These films are horribly problematic and bad.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, is it okay? I'm gonna try and play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna imagine I'm a mum.
You're
right?
a mum. You've just got in from work, Liam.
Just got in from work. Kicked my shoes off.
Kids are screaming.
Kids are
bloody kids.
They're off playing PlayStation. All my life, you know. Yeah, look, here's the thing, right? I grew up. I discovered boys. I liked boys. I liked boys a lot. I had a good time with a fair few boys. Not too many, but a fair few.
Okay.
You know, I used to go out partying, and I'd catch a boy's eye across the dance floor, and I'd boogie on over to him.
Please stop saying boys and start saying men.
I'd flash my knickers, and that was it.
All the boys.
I got all the boys. You know, I was sexually active, let's say.
Okay.
From the ages of like 17 to about, I don't know, 23. No.
So you stopped.
That's too long. About 21. Then
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so
4 years.
Yeah, I was sexually active for about 4 years. Then just at the end of uni, I met a boy, sexually active with him. Then he got serious. Got into a relationship with him. Still very sexually active. A couple of years later, we got married. Lots of that night, loads of it. Honeymoon. I couldn't walk straight for all the sex I was having.
Disgusting. Carry on.
Got pregnant, didn't I?
Yep.
Shot a baby out my vagina.
Oh my god, I hate that you're doing this.
It's all gone to shit down there now. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm working on it. My man, he still needs his sex, and I'm giving it to him. I'm not enjoying it as much as I was.
You're a problematic mum.
I'm not enjoying it as much as I was.
That's not the way it works. You're a guy telling this goddamn story, and I hate it so much.
I'm a mum in this story.
I don't think. I've
had the sex. I got pregnant a second time. Shot another one out. There's like 2 years between the two of them, and that's it. I'm done with sex now.
Sorry, you said you were sexually active from 17 to 21.
Well, I meant like proper sexually, like really like active, like multiple partners and stuff. Once I got
okay,
yeah, that's what I meant.
Multiple partners,
yeah,
orgies,
yeah. I loved it.
Okay, wow.
Honestly, Bukake.
And you went from that to only having sex because your man wanted it.
After having a kid, you lose your sexual appetite. I've heard from other mums.
I don't think that's true, but
in this story.
Is that what your mum told you, so you don't have to worry anymore?
This is what the other mums that I hang out with at Mum Club told me when I was talking about how shitty my two kids have been and how my man's keeps wanting it, and I'm done. You know, on his birthday, I used to give him a little anal treat. Not anymore. That's just for me now. So, right, okay. I've stopped having the sex. Right, I've got two kids.
Okay.
They've grown up. They're like teenagers now. Okay, still living at home. They're not old enough to move out yet. But whatever. Sex is a distant memory. My man's got busy with work and stuff. Neither of us are really in the mood for sex anymore. I have given up with it. He might be having an affair for all I know. I don't care.
Jesus Christ.
Don't care. As long as he keeps paying the bills, fine. Then this little book comes along. 50 Shades of Grey. What's this about? Been ages since my orgy days. I read it. BDSM. Never heard of it. What's that about?
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
You had orgies in uni, but you'd never heard of BDSM.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, this is interesting. Bondage. Yeah. All right, that could be fun. Yeah. Dominating. Yeah.
Sorry, do you not know the word dominating?
Not as a mum, no. I'm like, oh, what's that in the bedroom?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, I could be a little submissive. I think I'd enjoy that. Sadomasochism. Give that a go. Handcuffs. Never use those. And suddenly, like, my little world of just not having any sex and just like this grey, dreary, miserable life has just been expanded into this firework kaleidoscope of colour and experience. And
how many shades of grey was your life, Liam?
It's at least 50.
Oh.
And now, right?
Now it's 50 shades darker.
Now I go to bed and I just diddle myself silly over this book.
Jesus Christ. Okay, and you made. I mean, it was already disgusting, but you managed to get more disgusting. Okay.
Is that why it's popular? I don't know. That's just an experience of one mother that I made up. It might be problematic.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It doesn't interest me at all, that life that she lives.
Who, Anna, or the mother that I just made up?
Either.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
Liam. I don't want to live either of their lives.
No.
So I just don't get it at all. Because...
But genuinely, right? Is it like to kind of to some mothers, is this like really out there and just like, oh, I didn't even know this sort of thing existed, and is that the appeal? Because for guys, right, it's almost stereotypically expected that guys watch porn. Whereas, like, I totally think women should watch porn, and there should be a discourse around that it shouldn't be, like, this thing that women are made to feel ashamed of or weird about or whatever. But it feels like... I remember when this book was getting popularity, for me, I was like, it's so good that women are using this as a way to talk about, like, that sort of thing that is typically kind of left to, like, a male arena to discuss that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, but that's how it seems in the media.
If you've got a mum out there who likes 50 Shades of Grey and you suspect that anything that Liam just said might be why she likes it, go and have a serious conversation with her and say, look, mum, find something healthy. Go watch some porn. Find a porn you like. You don't have to find some feminist friendly porn. Like, I mean, that exists.
This is not a discussion I want to have with my mum.
Well, you should, Liam. We should all be more open about this kind of thing.
I'm not going to tell my mum to go and watch porn.
I'll tell your mum to watch porn.
That's not a discussion I want to be part of.
No, I want you in the room.
No. Like, I think... Like I said, I could be way off. Like, all mums could be, like, absolutely loving sex and porn and stuff. But the impression I get is that they're not really speaking about it a lot.
But then that's the thing. That's the issue then, is I don't think that this is a good solution to that problem. Like, I think, if anything, this is just making it worse. Because it portrays it in such an unhealthy way.
Like, I really hoped when this came out, this was opening that door and we were going to get more of this, but healthier, which has not happened. It feels like now, sort of, that generation of women, I don't see them talking about this sort of thing anymore. No. Yeah. I don't know. It's just such shit. Go listen. If you're out there and you're thinking like, oh, I don't like porn, go listen to a podcast called Girls on Porn on the HeadGum Network, where two women go and watch porn, and they watch from a bunch of different genres, and they watch one that's like the mainstream version, and they find a female friendly version, like a feminist version, where that isn't like basically the actresses have been paid properly, and it's all definitely consensual, and there's no like, do they really want to do this? Yeah, like, she's got that honestly, dead behind the eyes. It's one of my favourite podcasts at the moment. It's fascinating, and it's really good, and it's just a healthy way to talk about this kind of stuff, and to be like, like women watch porn too. I think like our generation, women are open about that. It's just like the generation or a couple of generations before us, I feel like there's less of a willingness to... I mean, you think like growing up before we had the internet, the kind of like porn was essentially magazines and stuff, right? Or like videotapes. And there was always the like rumor of like finding porn in the bushes or whatever, and that would be like, it would always be a boy thing. You'd never hear like girls being like, oh, went down to the woods today and found some porn. And I wonder if like now with the internet and like the accessibility and people becoming more open and discussing it, like our generation of females are more happy to discuss it, but for some reason our parents less so. That might be true, but even then I think 50 Shades of Grey is not the solution to that problem. No, definitely not. I don't know why this film exists or these books. No, it shouldn't. And I don't know why they're as popular as they were. It's abysmal. It's honestly abysmal, and this shit should not exist. They should read Sunstone. Oh my god, they should read Sunstone. Yeah. It's such a good story. Such a healthy representation of BDSM. Yep. Like, I watched this and was like, I don't get BDSM. And then I read Sunstone and was like, oh, I get it. Like, it maybe isn't for me, but I get it. I think that's the one good thing that 50 Shades of Grey has done for me, is because of that, you suggested Sunstone. Yeah. And I love that series so much. So, fuck you, 50 Shades of Grey. Everyone go listen to our episode about Sunstone, read Sunstone, and the new stuff that's coming out. Yeah. And then just pretend 50 Shades of Grey doesn't exist and don't read it. Maybe that's what we'll do next time, Liam. We'll do a whole episode where we try and get mums to watch porn. I mean, if you think your mum would be up for that, then sure. But no, I can tell you now. I did not say let's try and get our mums to watch porn. No, just yours. Just yours. No. I'll watch it with her. I'm going to email your mum. But here's some porn recommendations for you. Who are you? Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to score it? Yeah. What do you give it? 1 out of 5, because I really like the song. Yeah, same. That's like the lowest I can give it. You could give it 0.5 or 0. Oh, then it's a 0.5. For me, like 0.5 is something that I like actively despise, and this I don't actively despise. I just don't like it. I do. I think it's harmful. Like so, I actively despise. 0.5 to me is like Fantasia, which is like the audacity that film has to even call itself a film when it's just a series of music videos strung together. Fuck that film. I don't
Are you pissing off all the Fantasia fans?
I don't give a fuck. I know a lot of people love Fantasia, and I don't know why.
It's really boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. It's not a film.
I watched it as a kid and hated it.
Same. And I tried to watch it again, at uni, to be like, oh, was I just a dumb, sort of ignorant kid? Nah.
And you went, well, I was, but still, this film's shit.
Yeah, it really is. And I've got a Disney box set that at some point I want to work my way through, and Fantasia's in that. And they did a sequel called Fantasia 2000.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the film. I remember it being a thing.
Yeah.
I think this film does fall into that category. This film shouldn't have the audacity to exist. This is just a terrible someone's shit fan fiction. Oh, that's a point that I wanted to make. There is a scene in this film that is such bullshit. It's the fucking author. I can only assume it's in the book as well, because otherwise it makes no sense being put in the film. There's a whole bit where Anastasia is sitting and she gets put in this meeting because her boss has been fucking fired for some unknown reason. So she sits in on this meeting. This guy's like, oh yeah, you should sit in. You're basically going to do his job anyway. And then they're talking about, oh, who do we get? We need to publish some more books, because I don't know if that's how book publishing works, but sure, fuck it, probably. And then her suggestion is, why don't we get this person who's an internet author? And then everyone's like,
does she actually say that? I can't remember.
Yes, it's someone that has been writing stories online.
I know they say clicks don't necessarily represent sales, but I just thought it meant that it was a person that had online buzz, not that they exclusively wrote online.
I don't know if it's exclusively online, but that is what she says. It's someone that's been writing online. Yeah. And then she's like, we should get them, and everyone's like, that's crazy. That won't work. And she's like, or will it? And then they're all like, okay, we trust you. And it's such bullshit, grandstanding, because it's her being like, oh yeah, this is what I've done, look at me, this works for everyone. And yes, if you're a writer, 100% that's the goal. But you know what, a publishing house isn't going to just pick you up because you did well online, and when they do, you get shit like 50 Shades of Grey. You're going to have to work to get to be a real writer and get your books published. And don't listen to 50 Shades of Grey telling you that it's just if you do well enough online, some publishing house will pick you up. She got fucking lucky, and they should have read the book and been like, you know what? Fuck making this into a film or publishing it. This is Twilight fan fiction gone wrong. I'm genuinely getting more and more annoyed the more I talk about 50 Shades Darker.
I have some issues with what you've just said, though.
Go on.
Well, you kind of implied that she's not a real writer.
No. I'm saying that you don't just get this shit handed to you, which is what I think that's how it feels to me, is that someone said, oh look, she's written this stuff online, we should get her and publish the book, right?
Yeah.
I think what she's doing is unhelpfully being like, that happens. That's the thing.
But is that what happened to her?
I don't know for certain, but that's what this is saying.
Yeah.
Is you can just get lucky. And sure, maybe there's this chance that you will, but I don't think it's healthy to say to people, just sit back and hope.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get that message from this film, but that whole scene, I just thought...
It's not from the film, it's that one scene. It's a very self-aggrandizing scene.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. There was another scene that really felt like Twilight fan fiction, where I think he's talking about how dangerous he is or some bullshit like that, and...
Oh, yeah.
It really... I was just like, oh, this is really where you can be like, that's Edward Cullen there. Sort of.
Some of the scenes do feel like she just literally went through and changed the names.
Yeah, which I think is probably accurate, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what I'd love to know is how did she get this book published? Who read the Twilight fan fiction and went, there's a book here, if we just change the names, we've got a good book here.
Yeah.
I would love to know the story behind that. I think that'd be way more interesting than the actual book itself.
Even then, I think it would just make me annoyed.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, don't watch this fucking film.
Yeah, but you want to watch 50 Shades Freed?
Yes, because we've done 2 now, so fuck it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a good reason to do it.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
He just doesn't want to do it.
The thing is, you know what I'm like, and I'm a completionist, so I probably will get around to watching it at some point. I just don't want to dedicate, an entire culture swap to us having to discuss it, because I don't think the film merits our level of attention to it.
What if... I'll make a deal with you. I'll watch the film, right? And if I genuinely believe, and you know that, unlike you, I won't just manipulatively say, well, we're going to do it.
I mean, that sounds mean.
I will watch... Well, it is mean. I said I'm not manipulative. I didn't say I wasn't a bitch.
That's true, yeah.
I'll watch the film, and if I genuinely think there is a culture swap that we could do in it with enough stuff to talk about, I'll come back and I'll say, right, we'll do it next Mother's Day. If I think it's just more of the same, so if there's nothing new, it's just all the same bullshit, I'll say, yep, cool, we'll housekeeping it. I'll housekeeping it.
Yeah, I mean, I will get around to it at some point, but yeah.
Does that sound like a deal?
Yeah, we can give that a go.
If it is genuinely different, I think we should do it.
Yeah, I doubt it will be.
Exactly.
But I think that's the thing. I don't want us to have to do, like, this has probably been half an hour long at least, culture swap, discussing this film. I don't think this film deserves half an hour of two people discussing it.
No, it probably doesn't. But if the third one does, we will do it. I will report back at some point.
I think the thing that also annoys me is we did Before Sunrise like fucking ages ago, and we've still not done Before Sunset, and that would be...
that wasn't for Mother's Day.
It wasn't for anything. We just did it, and we haven't done the sequel. And I'm like, well, if we can't do that sequel, why are we wasting our time doing this one?
It's funnier. Before Sunset will just be you being like, what a beautiful film, and me being like, I don't get it.
You might get it.
I won't.
It's because it's all about love and stuff, and you don't have any of that.
You can tweet us at nerdonnerd. You can email us
nerdonnerdpod
at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. Facebook at facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod, all one word.
YouTube us.
Go on YouTube. Follow us. Subscribe on YouTube. Liam posts our broken up episodes and full episodes as well on YouTube. So if you just want to listen to like housekeeping segments or whatever, you can do that on the YouTube. We're on Spotify. Listen to us there. Rate us on iTunes. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Liam?
Yeah. Next time we are joined by a very special guest.
Son of a bitch. He's right.
Yeah. We're joined by Becky Dark, who co-hosts the Don't Point That Horror at Me podcast.
A podcast dedicated to reading all of the point horrors, as Liam is currently doing.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to any of their stuff yet, but I would highly recommend it. Each of their episodes is basically a deep dive into a point horror book, which is what we're doing for a side project that's going to go exclusively on YouTube. I think they've been doing it about as long as I've been reading point horror as well. So they've only they're 5 episodes in at this point, and we're about to record our 5th episode on that as well. So similar level. It's hosted by Becky Dark and Lip Gloss Jill, I believe her name is. And they deep dive into it. One of them will cover like the sort of #1 music hits of the era when that book came out. Another one will do the films that came out that were like top at the box office. And it is just them basically like what we're doing, where they have this like deep nostalgia for point horror books and they're reading it.
Just like what we're doing.
Well,
I've never read a point horror book.
I'm doing, but I'm dragging you along with it. They're like a deep nostalgia for it, but also are reading it with like 2019 eyes, where they're calling out the very problematic things like how mental health is handled and all this sort of thing. It's a really good podcast. Would definitely recommend it. It's really fun to listen to. We're having Becky join us next time to discuss The Omen from 1976, the original one, which I think we've both seen before.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an alright film. I'm curious to see why Becky's chosen it.
Yeah.
We'll find out next time.
We will. Bye.
Bye.